Welcome back again to the live, you guys. And Ben, you're my go-to guy for links if you come across one. I got a few things open here, okay? But Ben, so he's very on the ball when it comes to links. So if you happen to see the live coverage going on somewhere, Ben, you just put that link. That's why you're my henchman. All right. Anyways, you guys, Deb's in the house and Alexza is in her car.
I made it. Sorry.
And we're simulcasting on my channel too. So I want to say hello to everyone in our chat. I love you guys. Please chat away in there.
Exactly. And actually, thank you, because I was just about to say that, but Deb did it for herself. So let's get this party started. Absolutely. So, of course, Adam's going to be here. He said about 10 after. He should be here quarter after, something like that. And again, so just going to be trying to find some streams going on. You know what? I'm going to pull up this, but let's just say hello to everyone on Deb's stream, on this stream. And thank you guys for joining us today. And howdy. Hey, Daisy. Kaylee. Oh, Callie. Oh, why I say Kaylee. Callie's in the house. Callie girl. Jen C. Charlotte Dean. Oh, Chaotic's in the house. La po. Brooke Walker. We are Coda's voice. Okay. If you guys haven't noticed right now, the background, thank you, Streamlabs, for making it so you can now loop a video, or it loops itself, but it can't be any more than a minute long. So anyone that has a YouTube channel, just know now, I use Canva to produce whatever. So I have like different ones going on. So it's kind of cool, that you can sit there and you can just create whatever, you want, really. And of course, pink is always for Alexza. That one's a little bit hard on the eyes, but there's some really cool things.
We just got a comment in my chat from Sarah Harvey. She said, "Ladies with the gorgeous hairstyles."
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Mine doesn't always look gorgeous, but Sunny and Alexza always have.
Oh, please. I haven't washed my hair because I've been sick, so please.
It looks so cute.
That made my day. Thank you.
I literally woke up and just brushed my hair and was like, sweet, I actually don't have to, normally I freaking all over the map, and I wake up and I'm like, oh, I just got a free perm. But anyways, oh, I see. So Deb, so we are Coda's voice is, I believe, in your chat, because and Sarah Harvey, because it's giving a little, almost like a paperclip mark beside that. I got Ben. So there.
Say that again. We are Cody's voice. What?
Oh, well, meaning if you in chat, I can see for me that I can tell which ones, like Daisy. Daisy looks like, I think, Daisy, you're in Deb's chat, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yes, she is.
It's on, yeah, it's like a little paper clip shows up that I can see who's making a remark, say from yours, like Lavos is in your chat. So it's kind of cool that they have that where you see a little
But
symbol.
what is that? What do I need to do? Is that a problem or?
No, it's just letting me know that I know which comments, which people are in your live and making a comment versus the ones that are in this live making a comment.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Gotcha.
So obviously this is an exciting day, regardless, because I think it was Court TV where it wasn't Court TV. It was someone on Wish TV that said like 20 years and there's never been cameras, So this hopefully is a trendsetter, and of course Gull is part of the movement to test out the cameras and stuff like that. So I'm just excited that we get to do that part. And knowing that there was those documents that came out with regards to Andrew Baldwin, and then obviously his attorney that's representing him, let's see what stuff comes out of today's hearing anyway. Anyways, my prediction is the judge won't fire the defense just to tick them off. They're backing the wrong pony. Well, I don't know, because I feel like the judge is probably going to have all this remorse for Andrew Baldwin because obviously he's been snookered and abused. That comment just really made me laugh very hard when I say that. Snookered is like we're playing a pool game, I guess, and abused, that this is not his fault whatsoever. Anyways, we're going to have to see what's going on. And yeah, so again, Fox 59 said that, like I said, but there's a 30-minute delay, so half an hour for them. So we'll just keep our eyes peeled of what's going on around there. But I will share. Let me just go to this window here. I think it was on this one on Wish TV. There was this 11-minute thing. So as we're perhaps waiting for some streaming to come along, we'll put that down there. Sluice in Deb's house over there. Anyways, let me just play this for a minute. Make it a little bit bigger. Did I make that bigger or smaller? Oh, okay, there we go. Turn volume on, I guess.
Now at midday, a man shot by police in the courtroom for the first time.
And we have some rain across much of central Indiana. We'll talk about when the rain comes to an end and what we can expect for the weekend.
President Biden is back in the U.S. after a high-stakes trip to Israel. How much monetary aid he is promising, including funds for Palestine, is live at the Allen Superior Court in Fort Wayne. What can we expect today?
The status hearing for Richard Allen. If you take a look behind me, you'll see that officials here put up some cones for all the reporters to go inside. Richard Allen is accused of murdering a 13 and 14-year-old girl. And the judge, Frances Gull, will allow us to air video from inside the courtroom today. She is part of a pilot project that led to bringing cameras into Indiana courtrooms this year. The judge says the Delphi case generated great public interest and cameras will help ensure its integrity. Prosecutors report Allen confessed to the murders multiple times in jail. Allen's attorneys say that's because of the inhumane treatment that he's experiencing locked up. They recently filed court documents claiming that they have evidence that the girls were sacrificed in a ritual for Odinism. The defense also argues that video from the prison shows a guard wearing patches on their uniform that read, quote, "In Odin we trust." Allen and his attorneys hope to convince the judge today to order his release from a state maximum security prison immediately. The status hearing is set to start at 2:00 p.m. There are reporters inside the courthouse. They are not yet inside the courtroom. We will be able to air some of the video inside the courtroom about 30 minutes after it happens. Stick with us, Wish TV, on air and online for complete updates on the case. I'm Brittany Noble reporting for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and like us on Facebook.
Thank you, Brittany. And we are now taking
Start at 2:00 p.m.
We'll leave it on that for a sec. Sorry, it was 11:11. So wherever you are in the world, it's 11:11. Make a wish. Unstoppable today. Well, let's see. So again, like Wish TV is saying as well, 30 minutes after, it's 2:11 there, you guys. So hopefully within about another 20 minutes here, we'll be able to see some action from the courtroom and see if it's first time for Delphi. You guys excited about that? Just for the fact that like we actually get to be part of that, you know, instead of all this paperwork.
Say that again.
Just the fact that we actually get to see like live coverage from inside the courthouse. And
yeah, it's going to be interesting. I wonder if we're going to be allowed to see all of it, if the point where they're talking to the defense and prosecution about things that have gone on this week, if they will in fact allow that. I hope so.
I can't see why not, to be honest. Yeah, well, you can point it out, but you know, we're actually used to that, so it's neither here nor there anymore, to be honest. even when a live starts, it's like 7:00 or whatever my time and 10:00 Eastern, and Adam pops in right at that exact time, like literally at that. Like yesterday, I was about to hit live, and then all of a sudden, pop! I hear Adam come in just right as I was about to hit live.
Well, technically, he's not late because he said he was going to be.
He said he was going to be
late.
Yeah. Anyways, welcome you guys to the live. Hi, there's Kirsten behind the crime door. And again, and I just want to say again from yesterday, Meow Zedong, Meow Zedong.
Meow Zedong.
I get the meow part fine. It's just the rest of it. Anyways, you know that the Flora House has been demolished, and she put up a video there with Galen. Yeah. And if anyone's which I can see is in Deb's chat and is not subscribed to her, she's very close to her 1,000 subscribers. So if you guys can help Deb out, if you're not subscribed to her, please subscribe to her. That's an order, to be honest. I think Judge Paul handed that order down, to be honest. It was in the paperwork. I saw it, Deb.
Did you get the watch hours yet?
No. And thank you to Sunny for letting me simulcast today. So that'll boost my hours, but they're getting there.
Yeah. I actually totally forgot about simulcasting, or else I would have remembered to say it to you. And then when you said it to me, I was like, oh yeah, right. You can simulcast on there. Look at Princess is here.
Ooh, hey.
There he is.
Aspen.
Hey.
Maybe while you guys talk for a sec, and Ben, don't forget, Ben, you got my back on links, right? I'm just gonna peek around for a second as you guys talk. Okay, I'm just gonna go peek around on Twitter. Unless, Adam, have you come across anything yet? Like, did you see anything of interest besides? I just played this clip a little bit that they were talking about, but
no, no. I mean, I don't know if you know, what do we expect to see in court today? I mean,
we're going to see something. It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, hey Adam, okay, people are flirting with you now. All right, everyone. Adam had his moment to shine. It's over now. It's over.
Somebody made a comment in my chat that we are Adam's angels, Aspen's angels.
I mean, I'll agree that you're all angels, but you're in no way my angels. I'm just lucky to be with y'all.
Such a gentleman.
Okay, so I'll be back in a sec, okay, guys?
All right.
You guys just talk amongst yourselves.
Okay. So there are a lot of people, a lot of YouTubers that are present in the court today. A few.
There are.
Yeah. And I heard there was a big line early this morning.
Yeah, and I know it was raining earlier. Well, someone I know was on their way there, so they said it was spitting rain. And
it's a gloomy, rainy day here.
Yeah.
fun. Lots of fun. And I just want to thank my mods in my channel. Thank you so much. Daisy, Velvet Underground is here helping out. I saw Sleuth earlier. Of course, Kristen behind the crime door. And I think that's all my mods that are present right now. So I want to thank you guys so much for helping out. And again, thank you guys. Thank your channel for letting me simulcast today. I appreciate it.
Of course, get those viewing hours.
Yeah. You know I need them.
And Alexza, I hope you're somewhere safely parked and not driving.
Yes. I was just telling them. I don't think everybody knows. No, my kids were supposed to get out of school later because they have soccer practice, but it was canceled. So I had to come and pick them up. So I'm just waiting for them, take them home, and then I should be.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm parked. Don't worry.
I just saw a comment come across. It was a typo, but it said Frank Moister is in the corner. I love you, whoever typed that. You are awesome. Frank would get a kick out of that. He would laugh.
Moisture.
I was listening to the prosecutors earlier today. Have you heard any of their stuff on Delphi lately?
I mean, I don't know if I've listened to anything super recent, but I like the Podcasters podcast.
Oh,
I have a little crush on Alice.
Do you really?
I do.
Yeah, I really like the prosecutors. I think they're spot on so many ways. And they were talking about the 137-page, Frank's motion that was supposed to be a Frank's motion, and they were saying that basically that's not what a Frank's motion should be, the way it was put out. But the Frank's motion should have had a reason why law enforcement or a particular person in law enforcement had lied or caused a problem, and instead they threw out their case. They threw it out there what their case is, and that was just not something that you should do. And on the other hand, they came back and said that their opinion was the prosecutor came back perfectly with just bullet points, very professional. So that was their opinion on it. What's yours, Aspen?
Well, I agree with them, and I did listen to those two episodes that they did because I was impressed with myself a little bit that they kind of emulated a lot of the things that I said, and I'm not a lawyer, of course, but some of the immediate thoughts I had upon reading that memorandum were exactly what they said in their episode that they did a day or two later. So I felt a little validation in that, but not that it matters. But something I'm interested to hear about in court today is something that I was told last week that I haven't said anything, but the way that I heard that this was just, and this is completely speculative, but the way that I heard that this all happened was that this MW, I know the name is out there, but I'm not going to say it, who was an ex-employee of Andrew Baldwin's, was asked directly to come in an unofficial capacity to assist in researching and preparing the 136-page document. Mm-hmm. And in doing so, he even went as far to go, was staying in Franklin on Baldwin's dime while helping to prepare the 136-page document. It's in that span of time that leaks started to come out as far as the Odenism thing, which we all heard about from different people before it was published. And that's how this person had access to the discovery, is not that they still had a login or password. It's that they were given access in the office to help in an unofficial capacity in preparing the 136-page document, and that they took pictures of the screen of the laptop or computer and sent them to this, the person that unfortunately passed away last week. And that's how this happened. I'll be interested to see if that is said in court today, or if it was in an inaccurate statement given to me.
I'd heard as an addition to that, I don't know if this is true, this is only just rumor, but that someone left a laptop open, and that's how access was given. But I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be interesting to see what happens. You got a little grin on your face there, Aspen. I hate when you do that because you know so.
I know, because it was like, oops.
I think access was given to was given to this person, in order for them to help in preparing the document, and that's how they were able to take the pictures of the laptop or computer.
Yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
what that means for Andrew Baldwin, I'm not sure. Will he just get reprimanded, or will he be removed?
I don't think he'll be removed. I
Well,
doubt it.
it'll be, I don't know. I mean, I think that
I wish.
concerned. I think that the defense is concerned he's going to be removed because we saw the document that came out today.
Right.
And there are rumors, again, I hate saying rumors, but there are rumors that Baldwin had hired his own attorney. So we'll see.
Well, I mean, that's not a rumor. I mean, he's being represented
It's not a rumor.
in a limited form today by David Hennessy,
Okay.
who's representing Andrew Baldwin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he was
So he
snookered
definitely
and
have concerns about it.
Yeah,
It is
I mean,
a possibility.
David Hennessy is the one who wrote the 5-page motion for dismissal or sanction or whatever that was called that came out this morning.
Yeah.
See, Attorney Baldwin did nothing wrong. He was snookered and abused. Anyways, is it at the end of this document? Right here, respectfully, David R. Hennessy. And then I have the other ones too, but anyways, then it's the other ones are talking just simply about, that he'll be making an appearance.
I guess everything is going to come down to the judges, and then this room we're going to know what's going to be allowed and what she's going to be able to. I think this is going to be like the testing point of what type of judge she's going to be.
Yeah.
So it's going to be very interesting if she gives a chance or she just says no. You have to. I really hope he's let go and somebody else can come in.
Yeah. Well, there were leaks in the Murdaugh case.
Oh yeah, there's leaks everywhere. I mean, people are making it a big deal like a leak, but this is very common. It's crime scene pictures. Please, this is very, very common in the John Bonet in a lot of cases, in the big cases. Right. O.J. Simpson, there was a big leak also. So this is very common.
Yeah, Kristen behind the crime door makes a very good point too. Is that she already gave them one chance in the spring when that first leak happened.
Mm-hmm.
Good point, Kristen.
So we'll see.
Well, we're not gonna say the name on here.
Yeah. The name's out there.
The name's out there.
And I'm sure we'll hear it in court.
Yeah, in a couple minute video. It's not Maxwell Wiley, same initials, but it's not that guy from the criminal defense.
No.
This guy. 2019. I think Court TV had it wrong because I don't believe that this was a disgruntled fired employee that they were trying to say.
This is a current friend of Andrew Baldwin's, like said, who I believe was brought back in to help Andrew Baldwin in preparing the memorandum, because I mean this person worked for Andrew Baldwin from 2015 till 2019. And remain close friends with them. I mean, I have pictures of them at all sorts of events together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. True Crime Fangirl says Aspen's always bringing the tea. He serves up the tea daily.
I got the coffee in my.
I claim to know nothing.
Yeah, you know a lot.
That's
a lot of
lie.
people think you don't know. And it's so funny when I see people post in, Discords and stuff that they don't think you know something or they don't think somebody else knows something. And I'm like, okay.
Wouldn't know nothing about that.
Wait. Hey, Jill Mosier, thank you for modding for me today.
Oh, yeah. And I meant to tell you to thank the mods in here as well, Deb. Since you were thanking everyone, I figured might as well just go with it. Go ahead, Deb.
Daisy has a point. She says Court TV hasn't even brought up the man that self-harmed himself, that unalived himself. It's just odd to her. Yeah, and I don't know that we have seen, Aspen may have, actual proof of why he did what he did. I mean, there's certainly strong speculation about it.
Yeah, and I would never speculate as to what would bring someone to make that decision.
Yeah, and I know that he, was a highly decorated in the military. My daughter worked for his wife at one point. Very, very nice lady. So, my heart and my prayers go out to her and to the family.
And their daughter, they have a young daughter.
Lots of times news, like I remember someone saying, lots of times news doesn't report on usually a lot of suicide stuff. And it's true, really, they don't. I remember a big incident in Calgary where this guy was literally standing on the ledge and stuff like that. And honestly, he at one point is having a smoke with whatever, and then he goes to go jump off the ledge, and then they freaking tase him and he falls back onto the thing, thankfully, because you're sitting there watching it. But anyways, I was just always told that, not to say, because the media has brought it up, and I wouldn't even be surprised if Court TV has, because it sounds like something I remember Court TV talking about, but not in depthly. It's just not really a topic, really, such a good topic. But I kind of believe that a lot of news stations don't really cover suicides and that,
Yeah.
You're more apt to hear about everything else but that. But either way, regardless,
2 minutes.
sad family, sad for the family.
The true crime fan girl says she votes we bring the lip gloss back.
Oh, sure. Okay. It's so hard. It's so far away. I might have to take a taxi to go find mine.
Sunny, so where you want to stream from today? Have you picked one?
Well, I'm hoping Wish TV instead of Fox 59, because Fox 59, I don't know, they can be little buggers when it comes to copyright stuff, but I honestly don't care.
Less than 2 minutes.
Yeah. Anyone come across, like, I have a couple things open here, but Adam, if you see anything, like, for whoever comes up first, like, this is what I love about Fox 59, and call me stupid because some people might, but it literally says how to stream, how to watch today's hearing. So I'm at Fox and I'm looking all across their news, looking for live stream this. Frick if I know where the heck it's supposed to, like, meaning live stream for Wish TV says live stream. Can't mess that up. But on Fox, when you scroll across the top, there's nothing I see that says on air live streaming, da 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 da. And I'm just like, thank you for teaching me how to, like, not figure out how to live stream. Like, usually it's because somebody sends the link and, whatever, and I just pull up the link, whatever. But I was sitting there trying to sit, like, for 20 minutes, I'm sitting there going, okay, so you keep saying that this is how you do it, but where on your Fox or Indie CBS or CBS Indie does it say live stream? Like, you'd think that it would say live stream anyway. I'm just saying. That's why I'm relying on Ben or somebody else right now, that if they find it faster, just shoot it in.
Right.
Someone said Long Crime Network. I never really test them too much for using their coverage to see if they.
I know Court TV is. I know.
Well, yeah. So it's 11:30. So you guys, let's just all look out here for the link of.
And Charlotte, just to answer your question, I'm not streaming on my channel. I figured Sunny and Deb were enough, and didn't want to inundate people with the same stream.
Yes, we could have, right? I forget about that sometimes, because it's still kind of like new. It's not like something we typically think to do or do a lot of. But anyways, thank you, Daisy. Gloss it up, baby. Oh, fine. Anyways, We need to be looking for a link right now.
Somebody's sending me the link. Did you get it?
Did you send it to me?
I said, did you get it yet? Somebody says they're sending me the link. So
I'm here. I was just sent a message
Send it to me.
I was sent a message just now that that the hearing is just now actually starting, and so we probably won't get the feed until 3.
Okay. So it'd be a
Probably
delay.
sounds about right.
30-minute delay in the feed.
Well, that sucks, but oh well, it is what it is. On there. It really sucked when I had the flu.
Ivy just put it in the chat.
Oh, okay. Did Ivy?
Yep. Thank you, Ivy.
Ivy put it in your chat?
No, in our group chat.
Oh, in our group chat. Okay, I was looking here. Okay, I'll be right back.
Ivy's great. She comes through.
Oh, that's Fox 59's.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was on before. And I'm like, so where am I clicking it? Because you know what I mean? I was just like, like you would think that there would be an on air or live, here. Thanks, Ivy. But this is the page I had open. So it says stand by. Wait, what's that one? Wix stream 2. Stand by. Okay, well, let's take a look here. Oh, this is just a 240 minute. Oh.
Did you look in the lower right corner to see if it says live stream? Sounded like she found it.
It also could be different because Sunny is in Canada.
Yeah.
I thought I had muted myself. I'm bad. I didn't.
Thank you, Daisy.
Stop screen. Well, let's just go over, see what we're looking at here. Well, there you guys go. There's something right here, Deb, in the corner that says stand by for live event.
Well, that should be it.
Well, WXIN stream 2. Is that part of? Well, I'll just let it play.
Right. But like I said, I don't think it'll be starting until, for 27 minutes now.
Yeah. Well,
television cameras.
Oh, we got some breaking news from.
Did you get my message there? I would like to see confirmation on this. But Kathy Russell is the executive producer for Law and Crime Network. And she put out a tweet today, which Sunny should put on the screen, I guess.
Yeah, let me just put it up on screen for a sec, guys. Let me just pull it up first. Okay, you guys ready to be shocked if this is true? Come on, hold on, get in there. Open.
This was as of 4 minutes ago.
Okay, let me put this nice and big. 1 sec, you guys. Okay. I think we should show it.
Drum roll.
Bang. Richard Allen, go ahead. Attorneys quit today. The hearing cannot go forward. Ellen has been transported back to jail. Wow.
Wow.
Hold on a second here.
Couldn't they do this yesterday?
Okay, what's this one? Wish TV. Oh yeah.
And the time that you're seeing on the screen, that's a central. She's in central time, so that's why it says 1:31, not 2:31.
Yeah. Say what? So, Rozzy quit as well then, even though he's from a different firm.
Apparently.
Yeah, apparently they withdrew.
It says Allen's attorneys.
Yeah, with an S.
Right.
Wow.
So this kind of goes back to that paperwork for me, that it was, to me, reading like that Baldwin was going to be pulled off of Delphi for the, because that's what those papers sounded like to me. And this would make sense to what we're seeing, but I wasn't expecting.
I just put in a question. I know somebody in court, and they don't have their phone because they didn't allow phones to go in, but hopefully they'll see that and confirm it one way or the other for us when they get a chance.
What the heck? We want a hearing and we want it today. Get your butts back there.
Yeah, it must have been a pretty bad situation about to happen for them if they quit.
Oh
They
yeah,
must have seen that writing on the wall or been given an alert. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. What's WHPR saying? Is it W? Let's see what they're saying. Let's see if someone's saying to go there. No, that's not it. I don't see anything there. Anyways, sorry, I'm getting messaged here. Amy, let me just take a look here. People are sending messages.
I just got another. Ivy just said the defense withdrew. Turbo just said the entire defense team quit. So I'm getting multiple notifications.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, I think they when they came into court. They came. I guess they whoever announced that the attorneys had withdrawn and that Richard Allen was being transported back to jail. So anyone that was in the courtroom is probably on their way out now, and we'll probably be hearing more and more.
Should be Richard Allen resigning from his Delphi case. Okay,
wow.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's because they don't want to cooperate with the leak investigation.
Yeah, Wish TV, they're all saying it, so it's got to be the truth.
They didn't want to get fired on live TV.
It's I guess before they get in, it's one of those things that before they tell me, I do it, so I don't have to accept that I did something wrong in public, basically.
Well, and it's a way to save face publicly.
Exactly. And imagine for the next client. I mean, supposedly he was a great defense attorney and everybody spoke highly of him.
I will say this. I don't agree with how the defense went about doing what they did and all of the blunders, but it was brilliant. If you're trying to taint a future jury pool, if you're trying to persuade the public and the judge, it was kind of brilliant to put all that information in there, regardless if it was true or not. I know that I feel like
they did an amazing job.
I feel like knew they were facing a very difficult road with defending him, and that, this was a Hail Mary kind of thing.
Oh my God. You can imagine the delay. I wonder how Richard Allen must be feeling now, because I guess he was like, he was going down this path and he was so sure that they were going to go down this path. And now I wonder how he's going to feel and be like, how is the new attorney going to come and pick this up now?
Will he feel completely defeated and just throw in the towel?
Right.
That would be interesting. If he would be like, you know what, just confess and do.
Can someone send me a link?
He may have been trying to do, in April, and they may have told him, no, we have a good case here. Let's give it time. But I mean, who knows?
Yeah, because a lot of times, the attorneys are the ones that press the inmates, and they tell them, we have a case, don't confess, we can get you. So that would be it's going to be very interesting what's going to happen now.
Does somebody?
And the delay.
Thank you, Ben.
Oh my God.
I 1 second here. I'm blurry. 1 sec. Oh, stupid camera.
Maybe they got their cue from Keegan Klein. Wait till the hearing's about to begin before you.
I know.
Okay, let's.
Word. This is like the crazy. I have never seen more insanity in a case in my life. Not only just the crazy YouTube stuff that's gone on the last couple of months, the leaks,
It's everything.
eating paper. It's just insane. It's insane.
Did I show the right one? I don't know that I showed the right one. Yeah, this one's canceled, right? Okay. Let's see here. So Richard Allen's court hearing canceled after defense team withdraws from case. Let's just see. Does this say anything about it right here? Cameras. I think this one's saying cameras allowed. So this probably isn't the video, but let's just play it for a second. Oh no, let's get an advertisement first. Thursday afternoon development will appear. Okay, that's just, so they just put that up there. But this is to do with them talking about it. The hearing. Yeah, see, this is.
Delphi double murders case will be shown on television.
No, it won't.
Suspect Richard Allen is.
Okay, so that's pointless for that one. So unless somebody else has a link, if anyone comes across one, send it into Messenger or drop the link in here. If you're a mod or if you're a Messenger friend of mine, stick one in there if you see one. You know what? Let's just take a moment to ourselves for a second.
You know, that's why the delay. That's why it was delayed. That's why it didn't start at 2:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
And probably in quarters talking to the judge.
And I think they got the idea that Judge Gull was not going to have this. She wasn't having any part of it, and they knew that they thought their best option was to, like you said, save face. But
right.
I mean, talk about a public blunder on their part.
Right, and you knew.
No, I agree.
You said that early on, Aspen. You knew that. For people that think you didn't.
Well, I just, and not just, the delay this is going to create an injustice for the girls, but, it's also, an indefinite amount of time that Richard Allen's going to have to sit in jail and await the trial. And so, in a way, it's really an injustice to him as well, because it's in the families of the girls and everyone for him to have a fair trial. I've never disputed that. And, and I think, having all the information out there is important. And, and if there are other things at play, then it's important to know them. But when all of the evidence is leading us to a certain conclusion, I think that, letting justice play out in the way it should without interfering is the best option.
Thank you,
and I think this is, I think it's an injustice to Richard Allen and his family too. I don't think that it was a good representation of as attorneys, and I think they shouldn't be there. So it's just another sad thing about this case that was unnecessary.
Let's see here. Oh, hold on. Thank you. This is okay, hold on. Amy just said something. Sorry, you guys.
No,
obviously, there's a lot of.
I'm sorry.
No,
something
I'm
curious about. Sorry, Sunny.
Go ahead.
Something I'm curious about is, and I don't know the legal. I don't know what the legal stands are, but after withdrawing as his representation as counsel, under what legal, how bound by the gag order will Baldwin and Rossi be? Are they still then bound by it because they now know all of this stuff?
You guys, let's go to this Twitter feed that Amy sent because this is live. So let's listen to this.
All right.
So let's see here.
But they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClellan, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClellan, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
I see Anya in that there. So let me see if I can.
I saw several people I knew there.
Yeah.
That's why I was smiling. I was
Okay,
like,
there you have it. That was Judge Fran Gull telling a courtroom in Fort Wayne
Thanks,
that
Patty.
one of the defense attorneys for Richard Allen had withdrawn from the case. Again, we've all been watching this Delphi murders case play out now for years. Lots of twists, lots of turns in it. And this is just the latest one now. One of the defense attorneys has withdrawn. The second is expected to withdraw. There is another hearing that is scheduled for October 31st. The judge saying that she does want to maintain that hearing and keep that hearing on the books. I want to see if we still have our very own Alex No. Alex, are you still with us right now, Alex?
I am.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still here, Armor.
Alex, I'm going back to you now. You can tell our great photographer, Luis, that we are there if you want to get back there in front of the camera. I know this is all live TV. We're working to get reset here. Alex, basically we just played the video, okay, from the judge making the statements that one of the attorneys had withdrawn. Alex, I want to play now your story that you did with a couple of crime podcasters very recently. I believe it was earlier this week. Alex, before I play it, set this up for us because clearly, look, we don't know, Alex, exactly the reason why the defense attorney decided to withdraw and why the second one is set to withdraw. But we do know that a lot has been going on. There have been leaks. That was sort of the focus of your story that you did. So tell us a little bit about when you talk to these true crime podcasters.
Yeah, so the podcast that you're talking about, Amr, is called the Murder Sheet Podcast. It's hosted by Anya Kane and Kevin Greenlee, and they're based out of Indianapolis. And on Friday, they released an episode of their podcast where they were talking about how they received crime scene photos in the Delphi murders case, obviously a massive evidence leak in the case. In that episode, they discussed how the leak most likely came from the defense. We saw a day before that Judge Gohl had called for the special hearing that was supposed to be today here in Allen County. And they spoke to me Monday just about receiving those photos. They worked with ISP, immediately called ISP to tell them, hey, we have these photos. They also called the prosecution and defense to tell them, we have these photos, and there has been a massive evidence leak in this case. And they spoke to me Monday about not only those leaks, but just what it was like for them as true crime podcasters to be all of a sudden thrown in the middle of this high-profile case. And then I also spoke with IU law professor Jody Madeira, who talked to me sort of about how this could play out at today's hearing and for the trial going forward. She said it could make no difference, or we could see, like we're seeing now, Allen's attorneys resigning from the case.
Okay, Alex, I have to ask, just because all our viewers are hearing it too. Obviously, we're hearing a lot of sirens right now, around you. Is that coming from a certain direction, or?
That's just personnel. I mean, that's just police, or I couldn't tell if it was police or a fire truck. Just going down the street here. Nothing to do with what's going on at the courthouse.
Okay, sounds good. Alex, I'm going to play this story, and then I just want to talk to you again for just a moment. So let me play your story now from earlier this week.
What you guys have been through the last couple weeks, I'm sure it was not something you expected. Can you kind of just take me through chronologically what happened?
Yes. So in the early morning hours of October 5th, we received images that depicted the crime scene in the Delphi murders. Some of these images were quite graphic. And as the sun rose the next day, we phoned into law enforcement and let them know that there had been a catastrophic breach of discovery in this case, despite the protective order put on the discovery. In addition to that, we also reached out to defense, let them know that we were aware of a leak.
As far as the evidence leak, can you sort of talk about where it came from and where you believe it may tie to in terms of this case?
We were able to communicate with the person who sent them to us. He was remorseful once he fully appreciated the nature of what this material was. So he got these images from a person we refer to as R. R is close friends with someone that we refer to as M, who used to work in the law office of Andrew J. Baldwin. He, of course, is defending Richard Allen in this case. And so what happened is that M used his access to that office to basically misappropriate and copy some images, which he shared with R, and then R shared them with our source and at least one other person.
A lot more than that.
Oh, okay. I'm our boss here on the digital news desk. We've got our very own Alex Null standing by. Alex, we all just watched your story that you did earlier this week. So really, when you watch that story, Alex, maybe not that surprising that this case has taken another dramatic twist, where now Richard Allen's defense attorneys have officially withdrawn, or one of them has officially withdrawn, and the second one is expected to withdraw now.
Yeah, and that's something I talked about in my story on Monday, and specifically I talked about with IU law professor Jody Mediro. We talked about, like, you know, just looking at this case in general. There's been a lot of twists and turns. We've said it before. We'll keep saying it, Amr. In this case, a lot of different tactics used by the defense that have raised some eyebrows. And now at the end of the day, with this evidence leak, it's all seemingly has just led to this point that we're at now with Richard Allen's attorneys officially withdrawing from the case.
Alex, before I let you go, you were part of our crew that was outside of the courthouse. We also had our colleague Taylor Williams. She was inside of the courtroom. I know you just had seen Taylor just a moment ago, and I believe she was trying to see if she could get some reaction from people there. Is that correct, Alex?
Yeah, she was over behind me where we zoomed in, just amongst the media mass over there, trying to see the people walking out, whether it be family members or possibly Allen's former attorneys now walking out. But when she came up and told me, you know, the information very quickly about what happened in there, I understand Judge Frangol still is planning on having that hearing in Carroll County on October 31st and expects Allen to have some sort of counsel at that hearing. Of course, we'll just have to see how that all plays out until then. But as of right now, yes, Taylor is behind me working to try to get more information on what's happened here today.
Okay, our very own Alex Null reporting live from outside of the courthouse. A dramatic day again with another twist and turn in this story. Okay, Alex, we will check back in with you later on. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Okay, I want to play, because so many new people are joining all the time, I want to play the statement again from the judge for some of you who have just joined us now. This is Judge Frangol just a short time ago inside of a courtroom in Allen County, in Fort Wayne, when we were all expecting to have a hearing in the Delphi murders. Here is what the judge said.
I'll take us off screen for a minute.
All right, we are on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, 08C01-2210 MR1. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. McClellan, Mr. Luttrell, for your patience. We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to appointed counsel. I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department of Correction. Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing in the Carroll Circuit Court October 31st at 9 a.m. I'd like to maintain that hearing if we can, please. I think at that point we can have counsel appointed. I'd like to set a new trial date. Obviously, I don't believe counsel will be prepared within the next couple of months to try a case of this magnitude in January. So we'll set dates for the trial. I think we need to set a date as well for the suppression hearing that was filed now by former counsel. I have asked the attorneys to provide all of the discovery previously provided back to the state of Indiana. I know I entered a protective order on the discovery, and honestly, I don't remember when that was. I think it was in April of this year, perhaps, maybe sooner. But the attorneys have been ordered to provide all of that discovery back to the state. And if you would maintain that until such time as it can be turned over to successor counsel, I would appreciate that, Mr. McClellan. I've also asked the defense attorneys to cooperate with successor counsel. They're not required to do that, but I think that they will in the best interests of Mr. Allen. They're not required to provide any of their work product, but they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClellan, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClellan, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
All right.
That's something, isn't it? Anyways.
Okay, you are watching 21 Alive News now. I'm Abbas here on the digital news desk here in Fort Wayne. We've been covering the latest in the Delphi murders trials where another dramatic twist was taken. We are hoping that a legal expert will join us here in just a moment. An IU law professor who has worked with us a lot. We're going to get her reaction on this. But before we get to that, let me go to some of your comments here. Tennille Davis saying this is on Court TV right now. Oh, that's not surprising. This has gotten a lot of attention. Jason Thompson saying I wouldn't want to defend that man either. Wait, the trial is going on here in Fort Wayne. This hearing was scheduled for Fort Wayne. The next one, though, is going to be in Carroll County, the next one that's currently scheduled. Bridget Goodnight saying that. Kathy Septon, what a mess. I hope that justice will be served. These poor families. Bridget Goodnight saying, I'm sending love and prayers to those families. It's terrible that they have to keep going through this. It's been horrible, Bridget. I mean, you think about it, it's almost 6 years now, more than 6 years since these poor young innocent girls were murdered. Lori Minzief-Nidick saying, did the defense attorney resign due to the leak, or is it just an impossible case to win? I mean, we don't know the exact reasons as to why the defense attorneys resigned, Lori, but there was that leak of the leaked photos that came through. The defense attorneys had another attorney basically coming out to say that they had nothing to do with it. Peggy Schubert McClellan saying, I can't believe Allen is even competent to stand trial. Sounds like he's in bad shape. He certainly has lost a lot of weight since the trial has been going on. Bridget Goodnight, I think it's probably a little bit of both. Marlene Ritchie Holler, his lawyers quit on him. Zazie Watt, prayers for all concerned and especially the family. Linda Muzzillo, prayers for the family. Jennifer Leffler-Shipe, I feel sorry for Abby and Libby's family. Donna Milberg, this is crazy. Lisa Booth, wow. Marlene, Richard Holler.
Richard looks like he's gained a little weight back.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all been going on now for a while. Okay, I think we have our legal expert now.
Okay.
Let me see if I can get her here. Let me pause.
It's almost like a restart. Is what
Let me
was going to
bring
happen.
in.
Yeah.
IU
Someone asked
Law
Hennessy, I believe.
Professor Jody
Someone correct me if I'm wrong. I believe
Madeira.
Hennessy used to
Let
work
me
with
get you a
Baldwin,
video
but
up
he
here,
works out of
Jody. Doing
Indianapolis
a
now.
lot of things, and we are live
He's
right now, Jody. Thank you for
semi-retired.
joining us. A lot going on right now, Jody. Okay, there we go.
Let's listen to what she has to
Let
say.
me put her in full screen.
Take us off.
And I've got to put her microphone up as well too.
Crazy
Jody, I'm the
day.
director. I'm the producer. I'm doing it all here. You know.
Did we expect anything
Okay.
less? Really?
Let me make sure I have you up. Jody, I can't hear you right now. Is your mute?
I'm here.
Okay, there you are. There you are. Okay, now I can hear you. Okay. All right. Jody, we are broadcasting live right now. We've been on now for a good 25 minutes or so. First, your react. Let me pull this down 1 second. Okay. First, Jody, your reaction to the announcement from the judge that one of Richard Allen's defense attorneys has withdrawn, and we are now expecting the second to withdraw. Jody, your reaction?
I don't think this is a surprise. I think this is the only thing that the attorneys could do at this point. And I think that basically moving forward, this increases our trust that Richard Allen will get a fair trial. Thus far, the involvement of these attorneys has sort of been plagued by a number of untoward scandals or untoward events that, you know, basically could color any subsequent trial and imperil the result.
Jody, earlier we've had two things go on this week. I want to get to the first one, which I know we've talked about, which were the photos, the leaked photos coming to, I believe, some crime podcasters. For those of us who haven't heard your take sort of on that, what was your reaction to those leaked photos revelation?
You know, I think those photos, again, this is one of the most serious things that can happen. This evidence may have come in a very different form at trial, or it might not have been allowed to come in at all. But in either event, when evidence is leaked, it suggests that conduct that is taking place that is basically prejudicial to the administration of justice, and again, could imperil any fair result in Richard Allen's trial. It also makes the whole affair, particularly since this is a high-profile incident, look very much like a circus instead of something that is disciplined, organized, and again, under the control of competent counsel.
You are watching 21 Alive News Now. I'm our boss coming to you live right now from our digital news desk here in Fort Wayne. It is Thursday. It is 3:05 p.m. I was not expecting to get our legal expert, IU Law Professor Jody Madeira, on for at least another hour and a half. But this case has been extremely unpredictable on what's going to happen. Lots of twists, lots of turns going on it. One of the defense attorneys has withdrawn, if you're just joining us right now. And you know what? I do want to bring the viewers in now because we're getting a lot of comments and questions coming in. I want to get to one other thing, and then we're going to get to your comments or questions. If you do have a question, we've got a legal expert on right now, Jody Madeira with Indiana University. If you do have a question for her about this case, type it there in the Facebook comments section, and then I'm going to get to it in just a moment. Jody, before we get to some of our viewers' comments and questions, we had another news note this morning. It's almost difficult to keep up with everything that's happening in this case. And that is another defense attorney essentially came on representing one of the defense attorneys to basically say, to acknowledge the evidence leak, the crime scene photos leak, but to basically say that, that they didn't have anything to do with that. What did you make of that revelation also happening this morning?
Well, as the evidence is provided to Mr. Allen's attorneys, basically on the assumption that it will be cared for, and those people who are able to access it will be able to access it only in circumstances where they could not reproduce it, where they could not take it, where they could not, of course, take it outside in some form. For example, taking a picture of the evidence on their cell phone that then could be leaked. And basically, the attorneys who receive that evidence are in charge of making sure that does not happen, and that everybody who accesses it is authorized to access it, and of course cannot take it with them. And frankly, that they're very aware of the consequences of even discussing the evidence outside of this context where it's appropriate. It's being used for Mr. Allen's defense. And again, this is very simple ethical duties that an attorney must maintain, just like the attorney in charge of the case must maintain responsibility for other staff members who work on the case, other attorneys that are subordinates, other staff members, paralegals, etc., to make sure they are doing their jobs. And again, although there are things that might be going on without the attorney's knowledge, ultimately the attorneys are responsible for those things.
We are getting a lot of great questions coming in right now. I want to start getting to a few of them. Okay, from our viewer, Nathan Davis. Nathan Davis saying, "Hi, Jody. Jody, is this case unwinnable, and is that why the attorney quit?"
I don't think any case is unwinnable. When you look at a case like Mr. Allen's, the evidence might be so difficult that a win might look like a very fair criminal sentence. And again, you just do the best you can with what you have. And that is not, of course, up to the attorney's control. So I think that the attorneys who are representing Mr. Allen, no matter if the case looks absolutely terrible, have a duty to defend him zealously. And that means making sure that the prosecution sticks to the rules, that evidence, of course, is treated in a very fair and non-prejudicial fashion, that rules of procedure are followed, and again, to cooperate with other parties in the case to make sure that happens. Anything that happens that is untoward, of course, it's their responsibility to also identify that and perhaps use that to get a better result for Mr. Allen.
You are watching 21 Alive News now. I'm Abbas here with Jody Madeira. She's an Indiana University law professor. We love IU here. I went to IU. I graduated from IU. So always like to hear anybody who's from IU, Jody. And we are taking your comments. We are taking your questions right now. Let's get to a few more. Okay. Now, let's go to our viewer, Bridget Goodnight. Bridget Goodnight saying, "Hi, Jody. Jody, what happens if no one wants to represent Richard Allen because of the leak?"
Unfortunately, attorneys don't really have that type of choice. So someone will have to represent Richard Allen, and it will probably be a public defender at this point. And a public defender, unless they have a conflict of interest, for example, they are connected to a victim, for example, if they're connected to Mr. Allen himself, or there's some other reason why they feel that they cannot provide a zealous defense of Mr. Allen, they will have a duty to defend this particular person. And it's incumbent upon them as a professional attorney. And you need not like the person you defend. You obviously have to represent them to the best of your capacity. And public defenders have that charge.
Well, let's go to more questions coming in now for Jody. Lori Minzlaff-Neidig. Jody, it was said that Allen confessed multiple times. Why hasn't anything been done about those confessions?
At this point, it would be premature to do anything about these confessions. Obviously, that's material that can come out at trial. Just because someone confesses, we want to really look at the circumstances under which that person confesses. Often, defense attorneys will state that the confession was coerced in some manner. Often, people are not in a competent mental state when they might say incriminating statements. Perhaps they have not been read Miranda rights. And we want to make sure that these confessions are basically admissible in court, and that we want to put them in appropriate context at trial.
Okay, let me just, we're getting a lot of questions in for you, Jody. Clearly, people want to talk about this trial. Okay, let me reset for just a moment and recap for everybody who is just joining us right now. I'm going to read part of a statement from the judge, Judge Frangull. This is, so the hearing was expected to start at 2 o'clock. It did not start at 2. At 2:30 p.m., Judge Frangull came out, and here is what she said. She said, "We've had an unexpected turn of events. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn the representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion. Mr. Razi will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he continues to be entitled to appointed counsel. I will reach out to the public defenders to make that appointment, as Mr. Allen is now without counsel. I've ordered him back to the Department of Corrections, and she will maintain the hearing on October 31st in Carroll County. She says we can have counsel appointed." So really, Jody, that kind of speaks to what you were saying about the public defender that is going to be assigned. The October 31st one, Jody, we are 12 days, away from that. That it feels pretty soon when you have to get a new attorney assigned to this. What do you say, Jody? Oh, I can't hear.
Jody, you're muted.
My apologies.
Okay, there we go. Now I can hear you.
I think we defaulted to mute. I do think that hearing is very soon, but I do think as well there are other materials that can be covered, other topics. And so we will be moving forward slowly with the knowledge that Mr. Allen's attorney will probably have just been appointed at that point, is catching up. But as the judge also said, probably this is going to not even occur before January. So the new attorney is going to have a generous amount of time, or certainly an adequate amount of time, to prepare themselves for what is certainly going to be a complicated trial.
Okay, let's get to a few more questions, and then we're gonna give poor Jody a break. She can't be sitting here and answering questions all day, guys. Okay, let's see. Let's go to Bridget. Good night. Hi, Jody. Jody, what happens now that the photos were leaked? Will the judge throw them out?
That depends on the new attorney's motion. So if I were Mr. Allen's attorney, there are tools that you can use to basically control what evidence is admitted into a court before a jury is even impaneled, before the trial even starts. This tool is called a motion in limine. And motion in limines are excellent because they can allow the court to work through complicated evidence and avoid the possibility that evidence introduced at trial could prejudice a party in the trial. For example, you could file a motion in limine, make sure that a particular photo is going to come in or not going to come in terms of whether it's in color or black and white. And so that allows more predictability and certainty. So I'm sure that this evidence is going to be the topic of a motion in limine.
Okay. Let me see. There was another comment I wanted to get to. I've seen a few people report this, and look, Jody, there's so much content out there, so many podcasters, so much court TV, all of that. The thing where people keep bringing up that there's no way one individual did this, or there's no way that one person did this. I'm seeing a bunch of different comments and questions, not a specific question to you, but just because obviously many people in the public are saying that. I don't know what thoughts you have on that, Jody, but what do you make of that?
Sure. I believe that it's very surprising sometimes what one individual can do. And as we perpetually are surprised by the revelation that a serial killer that is particularly prolific is well known in the community, has managed to conceal their activities for years, I think we should be very unsurprised sometimes by the surprising things that people can do. That said, these ideas that there just wasn't one person involved, that perhaps there was another associate or someone knew something and didn't say something. We will get to that evidence at trial if there is evidence that others were involved. And again, it's just hard at this point to know what is waiting for us when the trial starts, because there's been a gag order. But I'm sure there's going to be further revelations that actually there was no other individuals involved, as individuals, podcasters, people who are following the case, even law enforcement, perhaps initially suspected, or that there were other people and there's just no other credible way to find them.
Okay, IU law professor Jody Madeira joining us. Jody, before I let you go, anything else that you want to mention about this? We've talked a lot about this, and it seems like at this point, Jody, we are going to keep talking about this. It is such a high-profile case, not just in the state, but it certainly has garnered national attention. And I guess for us, the next couple dominoes, Jody, would be the public defender getting assigned, and then I guess whatever happens October 31st. Is that sort of our next couple things?
Yes, that is exactly what's going to happen. And if I had any concluding thoughts, they would probably be just that most trials are very, very comparatively garden variety. We do not see leaked evidence. We do not see conduct that would be prejudicial to the administration of justice. And so we are kind of looking at a microcosm of a whole bunch of things that could go wrong even before a trial starts. And it's highly unusual activity.
You know what? I said that was going to be it. I lied, because somebody just wrote one that I think is kind of interesting. Somebody else wrote it before and I missed it.
Sure.
Ginger Bryan, she's going to get the last question. Ginger Bryan saying, "Hi, Jody. Jody, what I'm wondering, will there be any punishment to the attorney, Mr. Baldwin?"
That certainly is not for me to say, because I don't know the circumstances of the leak and what steps the attorneys could have taken, and perhaps they did enough that they could not be held responsible. But any allegations certainly will be reported to the licensing board in the state of Indiana. There's been another very recent example of such a report being made, and that's about Attorney General Todd Rokita's conduct for his remarks about a confidential investigation that actually was not filed until November of an IU physician that performed an abortion upon a young girl. And so we are getting sort of a double dose, perhaps, of these types of complaints lately. But any complaint made to the licensing board will be investigated in terms of whether the attorneys involved violated any rules of professional conduct, and they would be the ones to take it from there. But no doubt, if there is such a complaint that is made, and I'm not aware of any particular plans or anything, in fact, that the attorneys did that violated rules of professional conduct, but then, of course, the board will issue a public statement that there will be a hearing and there'll be an opportunity to discuss these matters in public, just like there will be for any other leaks or supposed, derelictions of legal duty.
IU law professor Jody Madeira, she knows so much. This is why we love to talk to her. Jody, thank you for your time. And Jody, this live question and answer from our viewers, I kind of like it. We might have to try this again.
It's very fun. I'm a fan too.
Awesome. All right, Jody, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. You have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Okay, you are watching 21 Alive News now. I'm Ira Boss. I'm still with you here. We've been going for more than 40 minutes. Lots of interesting revelations. We didn't get the hearing. We thought we were maybe going to get a 2-hour hearing today. That did not happen. But what did happen is another twist and turn in the Delphi murders case. One of the attorneys has withdrawn from the case. The other attorney is expected to withdraw. Before I hop off here, I'm going to play the statement from the judge one more time, because I know how many people join us at different times. Let me cue that up over here. Let me see. Can I get this back up to where I want it? Yes, I can. Okay, there it is. There it is. Okay. And let me bring this over here on top. And just like that. And let's play. Okay, for those of you who didn't see it, who are joining us late, here is what happened when we thought we were going to get a hearing in the Delphi murder case. Here's what the judge said.
You may be seated. We on? All right, we are on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, 08C012210MR1. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. McClellan, Mr. Luttrell, for your patience. We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to appointed counsel. I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department of Correction. Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing in the Carroll Circuit Court October 31st at 9 a.m. I'd like to maintain that hearing if we can, please. I think at that point we can have counsel appointed. I'd like to set a new trial date. Obviously, I don't believe counsel will be prepared within the next couple of months to try a case of this magnitude in January. So we'll set dates for the trial. I think we need to set a date as well for the suppression hearing that was filed now by former counsel. I have asked the attorneys to provide all of the discovery previously provided back to the state of Indiana. I know I entered a protective order on the discovery, and honestly, I don't remember when that was. I think it was in April of this year, perhaps, maybe sooner. But the attorneys have been ordered to provide all of that discovery back to the state. And if you would maintain that until such time as it can be turned over to successor counsel, I would appreciate that, Mr. McClellan. I've also asked the defense attorneys to cooperate with successor counsel. They're not required to do that, but I think that they will in the best interests of Mr. Allen. They're not required to provide any of their work product, but they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClellan, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClellan, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
All right. Okay, so that was it. That is what happened today. For those of you who missed it, the judge in the case, Frangull, coming out and basically saying that Richard Allen's attorney had withdrawn. The second one is expected to withdraw. So he's going to be assigned a new public defender. And then his next hearing will be October 31st. Okay, that is going to do it for now for this very special edition of 21 Alive News Now.
It looks like he went off or whatever.
Reporting live from our...
Yep, there he is. Larky. Well, at the end of the day, we'll just turn them off. All right.
Interesting. I was putting in my chat some information I was receiving that Kathy Allen and Janice, his mother, were in the court, and that Attorney Rosie came in before the announcement was made, went over to them and asked to speak with them in the hallway. And they did. And within a few minutes, Kathy and Rick's mother came back in, grabbed their belongings, and left. And so a lot of people in the courtroom knew something was going down at that point.
Yeah. And for the couple comments that I seen, I personally have no belief that they withdrew because they felt like they were going to lose the case. This is all because of the leaked photos. There's nothing like yeah. This is because of the leaked photos. So let me ask you guys this. What do you think of how Judge Frangol was talking there? Because I think to some it will come across like, oh, well, I wasn't expecting, Baldwin to resign or whatever. But yet that's exactly what the documents were basically talking about that were issued, was pretty much that Hennessy would be making a court appearance for Baldwin. And because to me, that whole wording was talking about basically like he was going to get, So what do you guys think?
I mean, we discussed this as a possibility on Monday night, when, with them being withdrawn, with them removed or knowing they were going to be removed and then withdrawing. And I said to Sunny that, I would have thought that paperwork would have been already filed if that was the case. But apparently they waited until literally right before the hearing was about to start.
Yeah, I think they definitely got, word one way or the other that it wasn't going to go well for them. And this is an attempt to save face, to save reputation.
Right. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if they're not under a gag order. And if they are eventually, if we don't see a book come out of that.
Yeah. Wow. What do you think, Alexza?
I hate when he does that. Something.
No, I mean, I agree. I mean, I was looking at the judge, and I think that even though I think the judge wanted to be the one delivering those news. I mean, to me, and this is me, what I used to do, reading her a little bit. I don't know her obviously, so I don't know baseline or anything, but just a little. She seemed very annoyed. And like almost like, when people go like that, almost like self-soothing at one point, like kind of like calm down, like keep your decorum. We're in the court and don't let anybody see. But I think she was pretty annoyed. I think she was the one who wanted to say, hey, you're dismissed. And I didn't think she saw this coming.
I agree.
And she seemed, but the body language, you can definitely tell she was annoyed. And I mean, look at her hands, like how she's clenching. And at one point she's what we call self-soothing.
Right.
So it was very interesting.
Think about the fact that, she scheduled this hearing today. She scheduled it in Allen County. And, she realizes that meant that, not only was the state going to have to pay to have Richard Allen transported in, they were going to have to pay for all of these witnesses and everything that were coming in. The prosecution was going to have to come in. The victims' families drove 2 hours, however far Delphi to Fort Wayne. So, I mean, all of these people drove all of this way to sit in her courtroom, only for her to be told we quit, rather than to take the punishment that we may deserve. She probably did feel a sense of responsibility as far as all of that happening. Not that it was her fault, but
Yeah, I think that's definitely like a control move there on their part.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to wait until everybody's there, and then we're going to spring this on you. We maintain control.
Control, yeah.
I think it makes them look bad myself, regardless. Like,
I think they already look bad, and I don't think this is going to stop the investigation and this leak happening.
No.
I mean, that just because they've withdrawn doesn't mean this all goes away.
Right.
Like this will now enter as part of the case because, this was sent out to many, many people, and whoever these new attorneys are going to have to factor that in creating a defense for Richard Allen, and that's going to make their job harder.
So, should it not turn out to be a plea deal or something like what do you guys think? You think the next option is, do we carry on with the Odinism line like the previous attorneys, or do we start a new one with Ron Logan? Let's you know what I mean? Like, I wonder what's going to happen with what they're going to try to do to make their client innocent.
And just think of all of the YouTubers and all of the people that, have been very pro defense and pro Allen in this. They're going to have to cozy up to an entire new team of defense attorneys and try to pass their narrative on to this whole new group of people. I mean, they have a year of work under their belt that's just wasted now.
Sonny, did you turn your camera off so you could laugh? Yeah, it's going to get really interesting to see what the new defense comes out with. And
I wouldn't be surprised if there are some people definitely out there just unraveling from the fact of all of the work they've done over the last year.
Here's Tira right there.
Oh, you are a master of words.
Hi, Tira. Nice to see you. And if anyone remembers Tira, that's I should say Jalen Rain. But Tira, you guys know that I say Tira. Tira's been on the lives before. I should. She usually doesn't mind, but if anyone remembers, Tira was the one that. How do you want to put that? The one that got Fouts by his Dirty Birdie video to have to step down, which was a joke in itself. But anyways, nice to see you there, Tara. I was just kind of shocked. I was like, wait, that's Tara on there. But yeah, so crazy as always. I would be interested about Tara, just answer in chat, do you know anything about the whole Odinism thing? Not to say that you're buying the story of it, but were you ever aware of Odinism, in your vast knowledge of, that area and the people? Anyways, but yeah, so I'm curious about that. Court TV kind of just went live, so I'm not sure if you guys want to watch that or not. It's totally up to you guys if you have to go or, whatever. Yeah, I'll share. So I'm not sure if you guys want me to play that or not. Tell me. Talk. Oh, that's hilarious. They all stopped talking. Now, one person responded to that. I just found out.
Wait, what did you say? Oh, Court TV? Well, I don't know. What are they playing?
They're playing about the defense quitting on there.
We
can put it on for a few minutes.
I just found the duplicate chat over here where I could see both of our.
Oh, okay.
I've been chatting only on mine. I'm like, oh, I can do it on both.
On there.
Velvet Underground says, I do want to see Court TV.
You do want to see it? You do want to see it? Okay. Again, for Deb or Alexza, or for anybody, if you got to go or whatever, just, do your thing, that.
Before we do that, do you think, and I'm friendly with Anya and Kevin, but do you think Murder Sheet are literally in their car right now, racing back home, recording an episode in their car so they can get home to get on Court TV as soon as possible?
Absolutely.
True that. I was What did you say, Deb?
Who could blame them?
I know. Well, I was gonna say they're obviously gonna put a podcast out tonight, and they're gonna, explain explain about the whole what's gonna happen next and everything like that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's that. I was picturing that when I saw them in court there. Let's see. What does Jalen say? They are not going to tell you why the defense quit, because they do not want to make them look smart. It's sort of the same reason that Curtis Fouts resigned, just work with it, go with it, and I'll fill. Well, we all kind of know why the defense quit. Yeah, leaked photos. Okay, thanks, Tier. Let me just go to Court TV here. Let's see here. I mean, it started now, but let me just bring it to where it is.
With that being said, then we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
Wait, that was it? Wait, that was the whole premiere? Ooh, yeah. Okay.
Wow.
Wait, is this? Hold on. It says 530.
Just rewind, Sunny. Just rewind it.
Well, it's 3 minutes and 16 seconds.
Right. So they're just playing Judge Gold's remarks.
That's about all that happened in there.
Yeah, but it's not live. It's not live.
They said they were going to air the they said that earlier today that they were going to air the hearing even after it had been canceled, but so they're just playing the portion of Judge Gold coming in, and they played it as a premiere.
Yeah, so you want me to play it?
We've already listened to it several times.
Yeah, like several times. That's what I thought. Okay, so I thought that they were live, but no. Okay, that's just a video. Yeah, well, we don't need to watch that part again. Yeah, we don't need to watch that part again. I thought that they were. I thought they were going live.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see. If we watch Court TV, that doesn't. No. Court TV. You can stream Court TV. That's what I like about WFLA with Hey JB. You could do their stuff and you don't get no copyrights or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
So Jalen says, go with it, and I will feel.
I thought it was interesting that the judge, said that the defense needed to return all of the, documents and all the discovery. I'm like, well,
I know.
What
Why
are
not
we-
just right?
we don't all have.
We'll be the defense lawyers, pro bono for Richard Allen. So we'll take all that discovery over here. We'll probably do a better job of keeping
Right.
it. Yeah.
I'm just hoping and praying that the next defense team and prosecution and anyone else involved will not leak information, and that will tighten up.
Thank you.
It's interesting to hear all this and to receive it and be able to analyze it. However, I don't want anything to jeopardize this case for the sake of Libby and Abby's families.
And can I say something really quickly? Because for any creators or anyone that's in here watching this, if in an instance like what happened with this, I know that some of us or some people have received some of this information or some of this stuff.
Right.
I urge you, if this would ever happen in the future, how I would handle it or how I handled it or would handle it is the first thing I would do is immediately contact the tip line or investigators.
Right.
And turn everything over to them so they're aware of 100% of what's happening.
Right.
Because you might assume they know, but you can't always count on that. And so, turning over the information that you've been given that was leaked from the actual discovery of a crime, I urge anyone that should be the first thing you do, and to not share it with other people.
Right.
Only share it with the people that can do something about it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. Don't do the right thing. Don't use it for clicks or clout. The double C there, clicks and clout. Don't do that. Do the right thing, because this is not a joke and it's not a game. This is a horrific thing that happened to Libby's family and Abby's family, to those two precious little girls. So keep them in mind and do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. So Miss Dog Lover, basically what happened is that Baldwin, the court hearing was canceled. Baldwin withdrew, probably to save his face from the leaked photos that came out of his office and stuff like that. Anyways, what do you want to call it? It's the game that lawyers will play when they, like they know what to do. And to me, like Deb said, save face. Um, you know,
No, Velvet Underground has a great point, and I had written some notes down saying the same thing, but she said it more eloquently. Going forward, I think lawyers should have an encrypted system of uploading info, not emailing, so there aren't any oopsies. Absolutely. Right. And I mean, we have that kind of system. It does exist for medical records, and there should be some kind of alarm that goes off if something is, shared or picked up by
absolutely
someone who's not, supposed to, or every single person that receives it, and then and that should be monitored.
Well, I'm shocked they don't have, because when I used to work, and this was a couple of years ago, and not the technology that we have today, but that's how we had. It was encrypted, and in order to get the crime scene information, the pictures, you have to put your password. There was password. You have to put your ID. So everybody knows at what time were their access. And if, for example, I always like printing them because then you can see better than in a computer. Then you would you have to sign in. And say, hey, these pictures were printed from this roll to this roll, and everything was dotted. So I'm surprised that the lawyers didn't do this.
I mean, they may have, but you have to think about the fact that if someone was brought in to help prepare the 136-page memorandum, the information that was in that memorandum would, these pictures would have been directly used in that, when they're describing that, how each little thing was, this stick was over this was over this.
And it could have been that they went to the bathroom and somebody just snapped a picture.
Yeah.
Or they were just given access, and the person had access to all of this because they were working overtime trying to prepare the 136-page document.
Help me understand, because I don't understand. What was the point of all this? Okay, so they leaked the crime scene pictures. For what purpose?
To support the information that they put into the 136-page document.
But most people are not trained to, I did this for a living, and I cannot even give you my opinion because I'm not a religious. I'm not that you have to bring somebody that is, somebody.
But the majority of people can see one thing and they say, oh, it fits with what this document says.
I don't know. This
and like I said, and the narrative I'm giving is what I'm told happened. I can't prove that, but we'll see if that plays out. But if this individual was given unfettered reign to the discovery so that they could help prepare this document, and as a trusted friend of Andrew Baldwin's and someone that had worked for him for 5 years.
I wonder if there is a technology where if a photo in a crime scene folder or whatever is released, that the IP immediately sets off some type of alarm to let them know that it's going somewhere it shouldn't.
Well, maybe that's why it was a cell phone picture of a screen.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah, you wouldn't want to have it come right off the computer. You'd want to take a picture. You're trying to be
tracked easily.
Deceptive. On there, let's see. I thought there were pics. Wouldn't want to retain a law firm that just up and quits. Well, see, I feel like even Judge Gold probably, has to, how people have to word things a certain way. To the public, to what's the word? You know what I'm talking about, right, Deb? You guys, when you word things
more to work with. When you word things, what?
When you basically are wording things so that to the public it seems this, when really behind the scenes it was probably like, I don't think that this was a big shocker to like Francis Gull that he up and quit.
I think it was a shocker that they quit. I was expecting her to lay into him and let them go.
Right.
But Jennifer has a really good question in here. Let me find it again. It's rolling. Where did it go?
Jennifer, this one?
Yes. Do you believe the leak to Brandon Woodhouse is real? Yes, I do.
I do.
Absolutely.
You know, and we're gonna go back. Like I talked about this before, like with Tierra, right? Is like when I was watching her videos about the club, you know, like the Lafayette Boys Club or whatever, you know, and Judge, it's kind of like when I was watching her, although I didn't know her, I just felt like, regardless of, you know, say drugs and blah, 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 that there was truth coming out of what she was saying. And, you know, where some people are, you know, might dismiss it, you know, being judgmental and stuff like that. But I was just looking for, I don't know, like I said, I just always felt like she was, you know, like just telling it like it was. Plus playing with your hair right here on there. And that's kind of how I feel with Brandon Woodhouse, is that, you know, looking beyond how he's kind of talking and slow and whatever, you know, but he has said about brain injury and stuff like that. I just felt like there was truth there. Like, that's how I feel about Brandon Woodhouse anyway. That, you know, he might have this shady past with things, but, you know, sometimes, like I said, if you don't sit there and judge the book by its cover sometimes and just listen to what the person's saying, I just felt like there was truth in what he was saying about it. Whereas a lot of people were like,
Anne Vroom has a good comment. Of course, the law firm is still on the line for gross negligence in terms of client case information management, security, etc. They're in big trouble on so many levels.
right. I mean, I don't know nothing about the law, but I mean, obviously there's like an investigation into it. And yeah, it would be like, you know, breaking the law. Simple as that. Yeah.
See, that makes me believe that, because we are living in a world that we can prove anything and everything. So it makes me believe that maybe this was the idea of the lawyer to leak them. Because I mean, if I'm working and I'm the lawyer and somebody leaks them in my office, I mean, there are cameras and you can prove, hey, I went to the bathroom and somebody took a picture, and they can prove that. So the fact that he's not even fighting this, that tells you, I guess he's guilty, because he's not even making up a story. Right. Oh, I was in the bathroom, I didn't know, nothing. So I guess it sounds like he's guilty. He's just very interesting.
And how compliant and how compliant was he with the investigation into the leak? Because you know, if in support to protect his friend, he wasn't providing information to the investigators investigating the leak. It makes it even more damning for him, which would then make Gull even more upset. Funny. But I mean, at the end of the day, you know, the head of this, it's his responsibility, whether it was inadvertent or intentional.
They're all that matters. Hard.
I had my volume up high, and it just, when you're just not expecting something, I'm just sitting there looking at it, reading it, and then poof, there comes the music. Thank you, Miss Dog Lover. And it is disgraceful, thinking about Abby and Libby and the family and how much longer this is going to be. You know, I mean, come on, right?
I mean, and even if this was inadvertent, the negligence alone could have been the fact that someone that wasn't officially on the defense team was given access to this information so that they could help prepare this document. That's not how these things are supposed to happen.
No.
I mean, that one lawyer. Go ahead, Deb.
Jinsey says, in my work, we are told even if you leave your computer for 2 seconds, we have to lock it and not leave confidential information out. And I'm not a lawyer on a high profile case. Yep. Same thing with medical records and medical information.
Yeah, that's how I see it too. Playing dirty. Dirty. Yeah. Maybe Tierra will join us on a live again.
Yeah. That would be great.
Hi, Ruckus. How are you? Ruckus
Hey, Ruckus.
He's in, or there you go. In my work, we are told even if we leave our computer for 2 seconds, we have to lock it and not leave confidential, right? It's funny because when Alexza said go to the bathroom, that's exactly the envision I had in my head. What's he gonna do? Play the card like, well, I was just in the bathroom, left my computer. You know?
Yeah.
Right. And Ruckus, I agree. I said that that the more muddying of the waters that the defense team did, the more grounds they were the ones that were going to be giving Richard Allen grounds for an appeal, and that's sadly an injustice to everyone involved.
Exactly.
I want him to get a fair trial, but
yeah, they ended up hurting his client. You know, out of all this, the one that is going to hurt the most is going to be him, because now the delay, the person who's coming, you don't know, are they going to follow the same path? They probably have to follow the same path, because they can't say throw the organism away. I guess they probably have to follow a similar path.
Mm-hmm.
I don't expect that the defense team expected, when people do things and then an uproar happens, it's kind of like, say, Carly Russell, like, I'll call 911 and da-da-da. And then it exploded so big. And so now Velvet Underground says, but was Jaylyn was saying, was this some kind of smart move on their part that looks good now, but will take time to age from their benefit down the road?
I mean, but these are lawyers you're talking about. These are people that are very educated, and they have done this for a long time. And to do something like this, like what was their, I mean, the end goal, I don't know. I really, it amazes me that they would do something like this.
Right. To answer the question, Jinsey says, how do they choose new attorneys? Does the judge just contact everyone on the list and everyone volunteers? She does. It's up to her, and she does contact people that are eligible, and she will be making that decision.
And that list of...
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just saying, the list of eligible attorneys is going to be narrowed down because of the type of case it is. And, the fact that, technically could be eligible for DP, even though Indiana hasn't, used that in a long time. They're not going to be every, public defender is going to be eligible to take on this case. So that list is going to be smaller already. And then they're going to have to look into scheduling, the things like that, of who's going to be available. And I would assume that's how she'll determine it, and proximity.
Mm-hmm. Something that I had thought of, this is on a different subject, but I've seen a lot of people saying that the photos of the girls that were leaked were not law enforcement photos. But I believe that they were. Just because they don't have the markers, that does not mean that they're not law enforcement photos. Law enforcement would take a general picture at the beginning, and I'm going to ask Ruckus to confirm this, general pictures at the beginning before they actually put markers down. So I believe that those were law enforcement photos. And no, I do not believe that those were photos taken by the perpetrator.
No.
Just quickly, Julian, I found out info about that club. Like I said, message me on Messenger when you have time later, if you can. Because if you want to do a live and talk about things, that would be great. I always liked it when you would come on and stuff like that, and just kind of like the other day, Tara, that was Blaine, was Blaine's passing. Remember Big Red? He would give us the info from the other side of the tracks with, as we were talking about runes and different things. And, I always like for a well-rounded, when it comes to a well-rounded live where people have their, like I said, doesn't matter where you come from, what you do, or whatever. Everyone has their own experiences and stuff like that. That's what I miss about Blaine. Is that, like I said, something that I've never been around, which is prison or anything to do with being arrested or anything ever. It was always a good insight, about the gangs and the different things, and somebody that knew something, whereas that's totally out of my realm besides Googling, but it's not the same as listening to somebody. So be very interested, of course, in that, the club, the boys club, and what your thoughts are, to be honest with you, on this Richard Allen thing, like not just this today, but just in general, the whole Odinism thing that's been going on. Aspen, was Allen photographed today? I think so, probably. Somebody would.
I don't, was that footage from today that they were showing in that loop that we kept
Yeah.
watching on 25?
Well, I wouldn't. I don't know. Probably, I would think. I mean, if they escorted him back out of the court, I'm sure probably somebody got a photo opportunity. He didn't make it into the courtroom apparently, but not positive. But I thought that maybe it was a loop from another one, but I don't know. Have to wait till later, I guess, and see. Because it's funny about people who don't follow confidentiality rules, at least in my experience. Yeah, it just, for me, like, because it's not like Andrew Baldwin's a young man. It's not like he's some up and coming lawyer. He's of age, probably in his 50s or whatever he's in, late 50s, and it's not like he would just like want to kind of like throw shade at his law firm in a sense. I don't know, like I don't know, I wish we knew like exactly how those, say, leaked photos, like, did like, why would, say, Baldwin is here, let me just turn my computer that way, turning a blind eye, like, to me, would a lawyer risk that?
I'm telling you, he had access to it all while he was preparing the documents. He was the one helping to write the documents.
The MW.
The 136 page memorandum. He was brought in specifically as Baldwin's friend to, in an unofficial capacity, work overtime to the point where he was staying in Franklin, where the office is.
Where did you hear
to
that?
help her?
Like, you don't have to say
I can't
that.
say.
Okay.
And it turns out not to be true. It turns out not to be true. But he was brought in, and he had access because he was given access by Andrew Baldwin.
Mm.
And that's how the information, even before the Odinism even before the memorandum was released publicly, there were YouTubers talking about the fact they'd heard about this Odinism thing 10 days before that was documented. Right then, Andrew Baldwin should have known there was a leak in his office. He should have done something to stop it, and he didn't.
Right.
That they document the scene prior to. Yes, I'm just trying to look. If somebody sees something, feel free to comment to it. Can demand as you see, you can afford it. So,
go ahead.
No, go ahead, Deb. My thought was.
Ann Vroom says these two lawyers were, by all reports, quite reputable as defense lawyers in the state of Indiana, except that one of them had a reputation of being very sloppy. And if you watch the murder sheets or listen to their podcast, you would hear interviews of people that had worked with or knew the one defense lawyer. And so I think, the disorganization and that type of thing could have led to not paying attention to what was going on in his office.
I seen Tom Webster go live a second ago. Tom Webster, you unlive yourself right now.
Oh, I gotta go then. My Tommy's on.
I thought he was doing a members.
Sunny, check the messenger. Last thing I'm going to say is stop looking so much at who had access on the defense side.
Ray Jones. Get back
Not
in my
really.
basement.
Okay, I'll check Messenger. It's sinking in, Tara, but I'm actually kind of tired, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I've been up since like 5 o'clock in the morning, so I'm sitting there looking at this and it's going, I know exactly what she's saying. And I'm just kind of like, I didn't mean that the lawyers, let me just see here. I didn't mean that the lawyers did it. I mean that they quit. That part was smart. I don't think they leaked the information. And I mean that they quit. That was smart, but I don't think that. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, someone that worked at the law firm leaked that information.
Right.
That used to work there, and like, so what Adam is saying there then is that 136 memorandum of bullcrap that he helped in
researching and preparing it.
Right. And so
he had access to all the discovery in doing that.
Right. And he should not have had access to that, correct?
Right.
And
even if you look at the document that was written this morning by Hennessy, he says that, Andrew Baldwin trusted a friend and was betrayed.
So do you
it wasn't just going to the bathroom situation. He gave access to this guy and for whatever reason that access was abused.
Thanks, Deb. I believe Sloopy, I think. Oh, Sloppy. I don't see it. I was seeing Sloopy in that gross negligence, but hard to accept that they were intentionally involved in theft and leak.
Yeah.
Impractically behaved with best behavior. Murder Sheet interviewed Hennessy in August. So, sorry, remind me, you guys, where's Hennessy from? Is he from one of the firms?
I believe he worked with Andrew Baldwin previously, but he semi-retired and he worked out of Indianapolis. At this point, he had the nickname of like Mr. Murder or something because he said he'd successfully defended like 100 murder cases.
Mm-hmm.
But didn't he write one of the documents for them?
I'm sorry?
Didn't he write one of the documents for Baldwin?
He was supposed to represent Baldwin this morning.
No, but prior to this.
Not that I know of. I don't think David Hennessy wrote any of the documents.
I thought I heard something. Wow.
Yeah, Frank's out of the courthouse. He's been out for a little bit.
I believe his magic words were bullshit. That's what I believe you said. Remember earlier.
He's not home yet. He's driving.
Or riding.
Riding. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. What we got here? So Ann Vroom says, I think the theft was money motivated.
I think so.
Sell photos to creeps, big market for that, but it went awry.
I don't know about that myself.
I don't know.
I think it was more that somebody wanted to basically kind of like the F tree from Mark Roberts that, like, here you go. Here's the, pictures to show that these got sticks or whatever on the girls.
So if that was the case, why not send it to more people or send it to a different, because the people that were sent to,
well, that's just it though. Right? It's been said already, like people keep going, oh, I got the pictures, oh, I got the pictures, oh, I got the pictures, type of thing. And it's morphing, not as fast as, certain things, right? It's morphing, like anything, right? Like how many people did Robertson send them to? Was it just the one person? I don't know. I don't know. The pictures to me were meant to get out there for the public to see, for people to see them and stuff like that. I don't know, but you know how it is, right? You send somebody something, oh, I promise I'm not going to send, and then
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure a lot, the people have sent it. I know how it goes, but I don't know. It just, I think it was money. I think probably was going, oh, maybe it was supposed to be money oriented, that sell it to somebody, but I just don't see just leaking it to leak it. I don't know. It seems.
Oh, really? Yeah. I don't know. I see
Yeah.
leaking it to leak it. I'm not seeing a financial myself. I'm not feeling a financial gain of this. I'm seeing it that people get pissed off and they do stupid shit all the time.
Yeah.
And they don't care about whatever, because as long
But
as
the person who leaked it, wasn't emotionally involved in this case. You know what I mean? So it doesn't, like, the trail doesn't, because what is it to him if somebody's saying BS about that? No, unless maybe he was told, you know what, I need you to leak them.
Right.
That I believe.
Exactly.
I think maybe he was told, you know what, you're going to take the fall, you're going to leak it. That I believe. But I just don't believe that, he got upset and he just leaked it. No, that doesn't.
No, because I mean, the information had not just been sent out to that person. I mean, he had it a week and a half ago.
No, I know. And this, I know somebody who had them before and they didn't say anything. And they had them, like, this happened, I think everybody started saying in early October. The leak happened before that.
Oh yeah, the leak happened well before. Well,
Weeks,
the leak
like
happened
2
to
weeks
the
before, and
bar
nobody said anything.
early
So.
before. Dustin Andrews says there is also new info about Liggett and the DNR officer being investigated. And I just wanted to say really quickly, we'll see if that comes to fruition, because what happens in this case is anytime something happens that's against the narrative some people are trying to paint, they put out information that is not true, trying to make it seem like, no, the other side is being investigated, when there's no evidence to point towards that. So there's been absolutely zero information to point towards Liggett or the DNR officer being investigated. But there are many people who are known to put out misinformation, who put this kind of stuff out so that they can try to paint the narrative in a certain direction that isn't for the truth.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that comes to fruition, but I highly doubt it.
Sunny, I sent you something in our
I think somebody sent it to you.
Messenger. I don't know if you have these documents already, but I
Let me
sent them.
take a look. Okay. And Tiara, I'm always happy for you and wish you the best. Tiara says, I'm very well-rounded. Life, my criminal history is very well-rounded. And now I'm happy to say that I'm on the other side of the tracks as well. Yeah, I know life, right? It's definitely been a roller coaster for you and stuff like that. But you always know that I wish the best for you. So thank you for actually coming into the chat today. I've thought about you many times, and besides my own stuff that goes on as well, but sometimes I just leave people alone until they're ready to, kind of come back out of the woodwork. And me, you've kind of had that type of relationship where it's like, usually I check in on you more than I have though lately. But it's kind of like sometimes I just let someone come back to me and let me know if they're okay and how they're doing and stuff like that. Because I know it's one of those things is that, like, I could probably talk to Tiara right now on, Messenger Live or whatever chat, and it feels like you don't miss a heartbeat, and then she would tell me kind of what's going on with her and stuff like that. So it's really nice to see you in here today. Okay, let me just go check Messenger.
Deb, is that what was shared in the group Messenger?
I don't know. I sent something privately to Sunny, so let me look at the group. Was it was it a document about Hennessy representing?
Yeah, that's the information. That's just the information that came out this morning that we all knew
I
about.
don't know if you guys know that or not. I just received it, and
Deb, I sent that to you this morning.
I don't listen to you.
He doesn't pay attention to you. But yeah, no, that
Maybe I
was
do a lot. You have all the good tea.
and correct, right? Like they were talking about Odinism a long time ago. It's one of the things that I remember, and that's why I brought it up when I was talking with Blaine, because we were talking about vice lords, and I remembered about the Odinism thing as well, because it had been one of the many things that has been talked about with Delphi. But like everything at the time, and even still now, you're just like, it was just like another rumor that just went into the pool of other rumors with it, and then of course the whole Odin. Well, let me just ask you, Tira, do you believe at all in the whole Odinism thing for the Delphi case? Or are you like me when it's absolute bullshit? Did you read the 136-page document where they're trying to make their perception of it so that they could do what they're supposed to do, try to get their client off? People would stop playing around for Abby and Libby for once. I know it's just a circus is all. It's almost embarrassing and hurtful. Like, I don't even know what to say with Delphi. I really feel like it's one of the most craziest cases. Like, we've listened to a lot of cases, Stout and all the different. This is a real, like, this one you just expect the unexpected. Like, you just know some other twist or turn is going to come in. Right at the core of it is that this is about two girls who lost their lives and were murdered. That the family, it's been almost 7 years. And it's sad. And to watch what's going on, it's just heartbreaking for the families, but it's almost so stupid, it's laughable about what's going on. Like, every time, like, you think that, okay, like, we're going to get to court and we're going to wait for that, all of a sudden this whole stuff explodes about Odinism, and that these false confessions by Richard Allen, and just too many twists and turns, and I don't think a lot of us expected to, besides the crime scene photo leak, I don't think many of us expected to read what we did and see all these names in the memorandum of 136 pages. Hi, CD, how are you?
Right. Hey, Sleuth.
I
Hey,
didn't Anyways, sorry, was somebody going to say something there?
I thought Aspen was ready to say something.
No, I was just saying hello to, I think Sleuth is there. And
yeah.
CD.
Total implosion.
Hey, Sleuth. Hey, CD. Hey, Kristen.
Kristen?
I really think that the leak was to cause reasonable. Well, to me, that's like the whole defense was to cause reasonable doubt. Like, but it's just that
do you think that? Did they? I didn't catch this at the beginning. I was kind of sleeping on it, I guess. They didn't actually. They did appear. Rosie was in court. Was Baldwin not in court?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he appeared like in chambers. I don't know.
I'm wondering if they were in chambers, and she told him what she was going to do and gave him the option to quit.
Well, hence the delay, probably.
Yeah, because she said that Baldwin gave her a verbal, I quit, and that written one would be submitted by Rosie. It makes you wonder if she give him an ultimatum in the chambers.
Which could have. Jalen says definitely no.
Point out that Aspen was correct. She obviously was ticked.
He wants to hear it. Hold on.
I don't care about being correct. Because at the end of the day, it's just gonna be a delay now in justice for these girls, their families, and a delay in Richard Allen getting a fair trial. So
right. Yeah, absolutely, Kristen. I feel so bad for the families. I mean,
Yeah.
we saw yesterday that Joran Vandersloot did indeed admit guilt in killing, that he was a lone person that killed Natalie Holloway, that he disposed of her body alone. And we saw the smile and the release of emotion from her mother, Beth, when she was doing the press conference. And, you
Yeah.
know I'm waiting for the day when this is all over that we can see that feeling of relief on the families' faces, as it's such, they'll never get over it. Okay. They'll never be over it. You don't really have closure from that, but at least there'll be some relief that justice is served. I'm praying and hoping. Right, a roller coaster of emotions, Kristen.
Yeah. And Ivy, that's how I see it. Hence why that motion that we saw. I mean, because that was totally like somebody having to go, well, he shouldn't be removed because this case and this case and this case and he was snookered and abused and it wasn't his fault and this and that. So the way that you just put it there is how I see that it happened, and kind of like in the documents about withdrawing. But anyways, that's how I see that it happened.
Hey, I'll be right back. I have to make a phone call real quick. I'll be right back.
He's going to go stroke himself to tell him he's right.
And I just saw Barbara McDonald post what happened. I'm like, you're a little bit behind there, Barb.
Well, I mean, I wasn't exactly impressed on her on the what's his name, Chris McDonald and Donna. I wasn't impressed at all by that live, by what she was saying at all, to be honest. On the interview room, they were sitting there talking about eliminating stuff and like Kagan Klein and this, and I just couldn't believe the things that actually weren't being said. Anyways, I was not impressed by Barbara McDonald on that particular live. Not to say I, haven't appreciated the info and stuff like that or her, but just that particular live, I just was not impressed at all. Like they didn't even they're sitting there talking about Kagan Klein to include him or exclude him in the circle and stuff like that, but they're not even bringing up the most important facts. And I was just like, okay, yeah. So, anyways, I just ended up moving on from that live because I was just disappointed in how they were sitting there not putting out all the facts. And then, so should we keep him in the circle or put him out? Just kind of like when you have lawyers that are saying, well, it's a good thing that only 3 people got the leaked photos. Dude, go back and do your homework on the case. It's only because there's what I call surface, the people that are the surface dwellers, that they're speaking about a case because they've, they see the documents, but they don't know the case well enough. But it's when they're misspeaking, and you see a ton of that happen with Delphi. They how do you put out the right information if you don't even know the all the information, and then make a comment like that? Well, it's a good thing only 3 people got the leaked photos, said. And there's more than that, anyways. I mean, it's not. I don't want to condemn them, but meaning, when you're truly into the case and you know the facts about it, and then you're listening to people that are lawyers talking about it, but they just don't know the full thing. It's like, yeah, I read that half an hour before the live. I don't really fully know a lot, but they're just talking in their lawyer talk typically. Anyways, let's see what people are saying here. We're gonna get going right quick. Oh wait. Oh yeah, where's my husband? Should be home right now, but he's not. Let's see here. They sent it to the right people. They sent it to the people that had access to everybody interested in this case. They sent it to the right people. This case. Sorry, I kind of got lost on that one. They sent it to the right people that have access to everyone interested in this case. I'm talking about the leaked photos.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, Lex, are you still alive? Just checking, asking your friend.
Ivy, I have heard that initially it was 4 to 5 people, and in the beginning, and then, of course, then YouTubers got them later. There's a lot of comments going around from YouTubers about other YouTubers saying that, you know, they're going to be arrested for this, blah, blah, blah. Law enforcement is not concerned with, although it shouldn't have happened, law enforcement is not concerned with Joe Schmo YouTuber that, you know, received them and didn't ask for them. They're concerned with the leak, where the leak originated and how that happened. So let's, you know, put that to rest. Most of the people who did receive it, you know, did report it, to law enforcement. That's how they found out.
Sorry, I just wanted to see where my husband was. I'm kind of paranoid like that. He should have been home already. It's 1, 2, 3. He's always home at like 10 after. So it's like, where are you? That's the panicked wife in me that always worries about my husband. Make sure he gets home safe. You know, I'm a protector. I'm like, if you're home safe, then you're fine. Okay. Having tacos tonight. That's what we're having. Anyway, just shopping at Shoppers Drug Mart. Well, hi, Alexa.
No, I'm here, but she was talking, so I didn't want to interrupt. And then my son was showing me, like, he got 100 on his test. So,
what kind of test is it?
This was like a reading and comprehension.
Awesome.
Yeah, twins, and it's amazing. They both got the same ones wrong. No, don't. I'm lying.
Someone's wrong. Twins. Do me a favor, Tara. Like I said, message me later. Again, you know, if you want to do a live, would love to have you on. Again, thanks for stopping in and talking with us. You know, it's just sometimes when I'm reading something as well, and then it's kind of like a partial of a sentence is up here and then down here, and I'm kind of going, I'm not exactly sure what she's talking about on some of these things, because I don't know, probably tired, but some of it, sometimes it's like, wait, I'm not really sure what she's referring to on this one. But I know you have a lot of good knowledge and stuff like that. Anyways, message me later if you can on Messenger. So yeah, let's see. Just you guys, we're just gonna go about another 6 minutes because then that will be 2.5 hours. That's good enough, eh? Some theories not that I agree with, that a snuff video is made. Well, I mean, that's still very plausible, right? Because I mean, they were looking for a recording and stuff like that. So just like they were looking for a knife set, and Richard Allen has clearly a knife set, and he has a lot of devices. But who knows? All I know is such a setback to the family. It's too bad, like this crap, like these leaks had to keep happening. That's what caused all this. Okay. That is legitimately what caused this. To me, it's like the defense doing their job of playing dirty pool. That's how I see it. And I just feel bad for the families. Like in my head right now, I'm just wondering how the families are feeling about all this, you know, coming up to 7 years, and then, you know, to have to basically reset the case again. And now just to ask you, so Rozzy and Baldwin, they were appointed by Judge Fran Gall?
Yes, they were.
Okay.
They were public defenders.
Right.
Richard Allen doesn't have money.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. So now, because it's not like he probably will just have, I don't know.
No, she has to reassign again. She has to go and look and reassign again.
And then somebody's going to look at the case and go, oh, maybe now I get the stardom from it, or maybe they'll be like, I'm not touching this with a 10-foot pole.
I imagine a lot of people are probably saying, look, I hope I don't get that phone call. I hope I'm busy.
Yeah, I know, right? Sorry, Fran.
Don't answer the phone.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
It's gonna be tough.
I just got a rumor sent to me.
Oh, okay. What's the rumor? Let's talk about a rumor.
Sounds pretty legit.
Okay.
that one of the leakers was being paid
You see?
through a GoFundMe, that they had received $2,000 so far, and that a reporter for a very large newspaper was spreading this information. Have you heard anything about that, Aspen?
That's unsubstantiated. And I don't want to go into the person's like private information, but I know that there was a GoFundMe set up for the daughter of someone that was that's been publicly named in this leak. And there was a reporter who previously worked for the New York Times that made a $200 donation. I think it was $200. There was also a $500 donation made to the GoFundMe by Fortson to this person. There was an anonymous donation of $2,000 donated. But as for what those donations were for, I'm not going to speculate that it was for information because I don't know. And, I mean, it could have been because these people all had personal relationships and they wanted to help this person's daughter out. So I'm not going to say that it was for information.
How old's the daughter? Are we talking like someone under 18?
Oh yeah, no, it's a child. Yeah, that's why I'm like, I'm not going to go there because.
Well, I do know
Fortson. That is all public.
Yeah, Fortson was a friend of this person. Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I believe this in this previous New York Times reporter, whose name was Jason Blair, may also have been a personal friend and nothing more. So I'm not going to say there's anything nefarious going on because I don't know, but they are listed on the public GoFundMe, as well as the $2,000 anonymous donation.
So it is a rumor. People, let's just keep it as that it's a rumor. We don't have any verification of anything but it's interesting.
But I think it would make sense. And that's what I was trying to tell you. To me, that's what it makes sense. The whole because people wanted to see it. I mean, most people, I'm sorry, they will see something, crime scene, and they'll just see gory images and they won't make any sense out of them because they're not well trained. They're not trained. Maybe somebody, but I see this monetary. This to me screams monetary.
Well,
it has to be.
Sorry, why were they donating to the daughter?
They could have just been personal friends. That's what I said. I'm not gonna, speculate there was anything more to it. Right. These people might have had a personal relationship and they donated to a friend.
Well, what did
it just so happened I'm sorry?
Well, what did the GoFundMe say that it was the cause?
It's for a Make-A-Wish.
So did she have cancer?
No, I have no idea. I don't know. This is like a child.
For some reason, I'm thinking of this as a medical thing, perhaps, or maybe it was just a cover up, to do that. I don't know.
I think that there was a legit GoFundMe for the daughter because the daughter had health issues. And this person actually moved to another state for their daughter to receive treatment. So that part is absolutely true. But, why they made the donation could be completely innocent.
Right.
I still not gonna I'm gonna think that was probably more of something to help the daughter who's probably going through something. I mean, it could totally be a cover up for sure. But, well, no, whatever. I mean, at some point, she always comes out. And just quickly for Jalen, my stuff went to commercial. I know what I was saying with you. Just message me on Messenger when you have time. And again, thank you for coming in here today. Again, it's been a minute with you. Haven't talked to you in a while. So it's nice to see you. And like I said, if you'd like to come on and do a live and talk about stuff again, we would love that, of course. I always love your stories, totally different than my life for sure. And, you got a lot of, I just like stories of people's lives and, talking about certain things that I have no knowledge of and stuff like that. And, Tiara definitely has a lot of knowledge out there. And I'm just, like I said, glad seems like you're doing okay. So that I am happy for. So it's nice to see it. That's what I kind of basically said. Anyways, for that. How many? What?
What?
How many father death penalty attorneys are in India?
Oh.
What? Isn't that that's a Google thing? I think that's a Google thing.
Other death penalty attorneys are in there. How many total?
How many other? Yeah.
She's just asking how many qualified death penalty attorneys are there in Indiana. I don't remember the exact number, but the list is very short.
I was gonna say, yeah. CD has an opinion? No. My opinion is a plea deal can end up keeping him out from death penalty. We didn't get close enough with these two meatheads attorneys. That could end up being what happens.
Yeah, we love CD's opinions.
Yeah. Even if you're not right about them.
Yeah, he's a smart guy, though.
Yeah. Well, it's like food for thought. Like I said, a lot of people talking about different things. Like I said, maybe at the end of the day, this was about money for the pictures and leaks and people getting their, maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. Who knows? Who knows? Delphi is screwed up, is all I can say. I literally don't even know what to say about Delphi because it's just such a whack job case. And it breaks my heart that Abby and Libby, yes, they're not here on this, planet anymore. But they need their justice, and the families need the justice. And just like imagine that, like just being, like I said, the parents, the grandpa, grandma, Becky and Mike and, anyone, Carrie,
Carrie.
Anna and, just everyone.
And they were all there today.
That when you said that earlier, I was going to ask you later, like when you said family was there, was like, I was going to ask you if you were talking about, some of the main family going.
Yeah. No, I believe they were all there.
Yeah. It just, but like I said, imagine if we put ourselves in their shoes, and we're talking about almost 7 years later. And then for this bull crap to happen, like it almost feels like that something keeps blocking the truth from coming out, that like imagine the draining. The families just want to move on, move to the next point. You know what I mean? And just go through the steps to a point where they can be like, Beth, Natalie Holloway's mom, and just be like, you know what? I might not maybe have gotten all the answers, but he admitted that he did it. And that's what we basically wanted to know. Mm-hmm. And for her, it feels like this weight lifted off of her now to finally feel that. And that's what I would love for the families, to finally be able to go, like I said, to keep moving along in the steps. And it's just like roadblock after roadblock after roadblock. And it's just, imagine going through that, if that happened to us, ourselves, how draining, tiring, frustrating, angry, all those different things. And this
not only that, but the families have been put through a lot emotionally because of people blaming them, even though there's nothing that points towards them that's been put out by law enforcement. So, I think that's got to be incredibly draining, not to be able to defend yourself and not be able to stop that. And I would not be surprised if there are some lawsuits after it, for slander, because it's been absolutely disgusting to see what people will say about victims, and the families are victims. I've heard people say, oh, they're not the victims. Yes, they are. They were victimized as well. They're not the original victim of the act. They're the victim of the after the act. And, what they've gone through. I'm sorry, what?
I said they continue to be victimized. I didn't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that's one reason I can't wait for it to be resolved, is that I want that for the families, that people will stop. And, the Bible says you will be judged by the measure that you judge others. So we need to be really careful what we say about innocent people.
Deb, you're not innocent. I can talk about you all I want. Yeah, there's nothing innocent about that. And I do. Okay, well, we'll just look at the last couple comments here, and then we'll move. Time to go. I think someone said I don't want personally. I watch The Lawyer. Sometimes, not really my cup of tea, to be honest with you. But Ben had said that The Lawyer was on. Some people watch him. I watch him sometimes. Yeah.
We can all go watch the next 4 hours of Tom Webster.
Or Tom Webster. I would say Tom Webster's live, and whoever else is going live tonight. And I don't. So Miss Haunted Parlor. Well, that's a good name for this month, isn't it? I don't believe these events are mistakes or errors done on purpose. I don't believe that they're mistakes. Ivy has to go back to work. Have a good day, Ivy.
Hi, Ivy. Thanks for your help.
Yeah. Always thank you guys for the help when you guys send links and stuff and make it easier. Stuff like this. So I hear my husband. It's so important to know that we can care about Abby and Libby and that the case, but they are their kids. I heard someone say that are public figures now and belong to all of us. Nope. Okay, hold on. Let me read that again. It's so important to know that we can care about Abby and Libby and the case, but they are their kids. Well, absolutely. But a lot of us have adopted them as our own as well.
Right.
But it's not.
When we say that, when we've said, they're our girls too, we don't say that to take away from the families. We say that to say that we love them. We've grown to love them and care about them. Sometimes I have to remind myself that I didn't know them,
I know.
because I feel like I did because I've been so vested in this case.
And
absolutely,
example for this, I don't like to, and I'm not going to say the YouTuber, but someone just sent me, literally as we're talking about this, someone has sent me this message that was put out by a YouTuber, and I'm gonna read it.
Okay.
It says, "Hi, this late." When we're talking about people feeling like this is theirs, they're affected by this. Hi, this latest news has sent me spiraling into the abyss. It's fair to say many of us have been caught blindsided, none more so than me. I'm currently in a bad place, both spiritually and physically. I'm going to need some time to recover and reset. I'm sorry. What's occurred has been completely out of my control. I got up early here in Sydney to watch the events unfold. I'm still in a state of shock and disbelief. So many feelings and emotions running through my head. So please allow me some time to reflect on what's just occurred. I don't know when I'll do a video next. Please pray for me, Libby, and Abby.
See, this is what this has become. Everything, and this is how I feel. Somebody outsider that I'm not a YouTuber like you guys is. Everybody's like it's almost like attention seekers.
Right.
Like it's like the girls are there, but let me put me. I was reading something from another YouTuber too last night, and it was like me. Oh, Abby and Livy. Yeah, sure. Just
I think that has to do with the personality of the person being narcissistic.
Jesus.
Because narcissist, everything is about them.
I was just gonna say that sounds like a poor me victim, that poor person, making
pray
it
for me, Abby and Libby.
Yeah.
at least put them first, and then yourself, like Abby, Libby, and myself. But don't put yourself first.
Yeah. Anyway, I get the fact that people, are disappointed and, and are heartbroken in certain way, But yeah, for me, that would be a little thick. That would be someone that that gets very emotional very fast. And it came off like, no one could even remotely feel like how I'm feeling, because I'm the most devastated in all of this case. Not you guys, but me, Abby and Libby.
Well, that person might be devastated because they might not get mentions in future documents.
Yeah. And Velvet, yeah, it wasn't you guys who said it. There was someone, yeah, like I would never claim that. Like we've kind of adopted the girls of our own, especially people that have been following this case for a long time. I don't think there's any problem with saying that. Like I think of Abby and Libby as if I know them, which I don't, like Deb said. And you have to remind yourself, but you feel in your heart, you know, like people that have deep empathy and stuff like that, you can't help but feel like you're connected to a case that you've been following, you know, and that's the whole purpose of why you follow certain cases, because maybe there's something parallel in your life or something that, you know, that just pulled at your heartstrings to follow the case or whatever, you know. And that's what happened with me as a mother. As a mother, it has nothing to do with, you know, clicks, views, whatever. As a mother, I'm devastated for what happens to any child, not just Abby and Libby, but Abby and Libby's case was an extremely strange case to me when I actually was like, I looked at it before Suzanne Morphew, you know, and then I came back to it and I was like, wow, what a messed up case. Never realized it could, you know, that I'd be sitting here talking about Abby and Libby all these couple, you know, few years later and stuff like that. But I will not be, I'll be, what is it, not unapologetic for caring about them, you know, and again, knowing that they're not our girls, but yet feeling like as a mother that if this was to happen to any one of us, that we couldn't even put ourselves in their shoes unless something remotely close has happened. For me, it's about the children. To me, children are the most precious gifts. And just to think of what happened to Abby and Libby, not just Abby and Libby, but other cases, but Abby and Libby, because this is like one of the main cases, of course, following. It's the second most case, besides, for me, Suzanne Morphew. But actually, this one even kind of, you know, I spent longer time on Delphi than actually Suzanne Morphew now. You know, just as a mother, it's just absolutely heartbreaking. I don't want to speak for fathers, but as a mother, like I said, you know, they slide down out of us. They are born, our children are born in the woman's womb, you know, and you have this huge bond to them, not to take away from fathers, but you guys don't do all that work, you know, but, you know, so yeah, so I don't want to take away from fathers that care about their kids too, but I'm just saying from a mother's perspective, you know, just that special bond, because this child is born with inside of you that you created, and just to know the horrific way that these girls were killed, it just breaks my heart. It breaks my heart for any child. I hate people that harm children. Totally. That's not why they were brought into this world, was to be abused by people or to be murdered by people and stuff like that. And it's just sickening to think that someone would take their lives that way. Sad. Husband, do you need me? No. Okay. As a psychologist viewpoint, one thing that helps trauma survivors is for someone to hear their story, walk through it with them, and validate them. I think it's so great that so many people care, because it's like they're walking. Oops, did I go to? So they're walking through it with the girls. We care what happened to you girls. We wish we were able to stop what happened to you, and we wish you weren't alone. Very well said, Velvet. Absolutely. Yeah. You know, the strange thing is you guys might agree or might not agree, but one of the most things to me is the most healing thing is talking about it instead of, you know, keeping it inside. Like, you know, there comes a point, obviously, where you're going through your grief and you're just like, I just can't think about it, talk about it. But one of the most healing things to me is the more you talk about it, the more strength, you know, you get, the more it heals and stuff like that. But not everyone
cathartic, yeah,
to do it that way. Okay. Anyways, well said, Velvet. And Miss Delaware. Oh my God, I can't believe I missed this one. What the heck? Adam, you were looking very handsome at the moment.
At the moment. I want to point out, she said at the moment.
Yeah, and I think my camera was off when she said it.
I feel like your skin is shining and it's giving off this glow. and it's just and your blue. Oh, hold on, Adam, are you in a different
Background,
room?
blue eyes. Yeah.
Is that the same room? Because it looks like it's just pulling out your eyes too, like that blue. Normally it's this circle of light, but now you got this blue wall against the blue blonde
And that
hair,
glow
blue
over
eyes.
his head.
Normally I'd say you got lucky last night or this morning or something with that glow going on there, but yeah. Anyways, I'm so sorry. I almost missed looking over that that comment. He's gone off to preen himself. Anyways, to me, I think that's what your channel does and why I can watch it. Other channels don't come from that space. Well, that's very nice, you know. I always appreciate it myself personally, you know, and I'm sure like Deb and Adam and Alexza and others as well that are in chat and stuff like that. You know, it's when you do things with authenticity to it, and there's no, like, you don't have to think about caring about people or think about, you know, helping others or think about stuff like that, you know. But it's just, to me, the authenticity of somebody, where you can tell that they truly care about people and the case and stuff like that. So I always appreciate it when, instead of people trying to kick you down for being that way, you know. I mean, it's hard on YouTube land here because there's so many negative comments that people always want to troll and say ignorant things, you know, in chats, and I just don't care to put up with that crap anymore, to be honest with you. I do have very little patience for that stuff because it just bugs me that people just go out of their way to keep, you know, I am the greatest, I am, you know, this and I am that. And it's just like I said, I just don't have the time of day. I like the fact that people that come to this channel have like so many of the people that stick with that is because they can relate to the channel and who we are as people, and to feel like we're being truth and transparency and honest and genuine in how we're interacting, and we're not putting on this fake show, like this fakeness, you know, to create the, you know. Thank you for my subscribers.
Joe Johnson said, "What has happened today at the hearing?" Well, you know, before we go to, do we want to play Gull herself saying what happened one more time before we go today? Because that kind of wraps it all up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll just kind of come back with our last thoughts and then call this live.
I got to eat.
Deb, you know, the reason why I'm staying on this live is to stop you from saying I have to go have something to eat. You know that's the reason, right?
Deb just wants to go watch Tom.
Yes. Right. Okay. Hold on a second. I gotta find it again because I closed it off. Oh, I guess I can go to Court TV because they have it.
Kate says, Aspen, Kate, I have to say, when I saw Nick's haircut earlier today, I immediately sent our friend Alex a message who just got all of his hair cut off. And I said, it looks like Nick and myself both need a trip to your barber, Alex.
Oh, Alex Voorhees?
Yeah, because he just got all of his hair cut off. And so I said, it looks like Nick McClellan and myself both need a trip to Alex's barber.
Right? Okay, give me 1 second. Thank you. A1. Well, it looks like it says always. I know it says A1, but we'll just say always straight. Yeah. God, I keep clicking my thing, double clicking my mute button. Let me just go find the Court TV. I think Court TV. Let's see. Okay, here it is. This one. Okay, let me find it. 1 sec, guys. Okay, I'll present it.
We on? All right, we are on the record in State of Indiana versus Richard Allen, 08C012210MR1. Thank you for your patience, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Mr. McClellan, Mr. Luttrell, for your patience. We've had an unexpected turn of events, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier this afternoon, the defense attorneys have withdrawn their representation of Mr. Allen. Mr. Baldwin made an oral motion to withdraw. I granted that oral motion to withdraw, and Mr. Rosie will be submitting a written motion to withdraw, I'm assuming within the next couple of days. They have confirmed with the court that Mr. Allen's financial situation remains static, meaning he is continuing to be entitled to appointed counsel. I will reach out to public defenders to make that appointment. As Mr. Allen is now without counsel, I've ordered him transported back to the Department of Correction. Mr. McClellan, I know that we have already scheduled a hearing in the Carroll Circuit Court October 31st at 9 a.m. I'd like to maintain that hearing if we can, please. I think at that point we can have counsel appointed. I'd like to set a new trial date. Obviously, I don't believe counsel will be prepared within the next couple of months to try a case of this magnitude in January. So we'll set dates for the trial. I think we need to set a date as well for the suppression hearing that was filed now by former counsel. I have asked the attorneys to provide all of the discovery previously provided back to the state of Indiana. I know I entered a protective order on the discovery, and honestly, I don't remember when that was. I think it was in April of this year, perhaps, maybe sooner. But the attorneys have been ordered to provide all of that discovery back to the state. And if you would maintain that until such time as it can be turned over to successor counsel, I would appreciate that, Mr. McClellan. I've also asked the defense attorneys to cooperate with successor counsel. They're not required to do that, but I think that they will in the best interests of Mr. Allen. They're not required to provide any of their work product, but they will be required and have indicated that they will cooperate with successor counsel. So obviously, without counsel, Mr. Allen's hearing cannot proceed. I apologize that I know many of you have been waiting for several hours. I know, Mr. McClellan, you and your staff, and you had some witnesses here that came earlier to have the hearing, but clearly this is outside of our control. So is there anything, Mr. McClellan, that you'd like to state for the record?
No, Your Honor, I think we can address the other issues at the October 31st court date.
All right. With that being said, then, we are in recess. Thank you. I'll see you in October.
Oh, 1 second. Okay, so that was that. Okay, of course, my cat's in here now meowing like crazy. But, you know, remember, I want to say how me and my husband quickly are really in sync here. Because you guys know how I was saying that Patrick Westfall was chomping back licorice on Sleuth's Live. And I was pissed because I love licorice. And I was watching this guy pop it, and because being diabetic now and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, look what husband brought me.
That's nice.
Twizzlers, and they're colored kind. See that? Oh. So that's what I'm talking about. That's how much my husband knows me. I never even said anything about licorice, but he knows that I do love licorice, but he always tells me I can't have it because of diabetes. So now he brings me this rainbow treat, and I'm just like, woohoo. Yeah, I probably don't need it, but there are ones. Anyways, I'm just saying. Okay, so I was talking about the licorice earlier, and then husband comes home and with licorice, and he normally always just denies me. But it's the one treat. Chips and licorice, you know, are two of my favorite like snacky things. So I always like to have, I don't know, licorice. Anyways, so
go sparingly on those, Sonny.
Yeah, not too many. Just
okay.
A little bit moderation. Remember, moderation.
Right? Sure. Yeah, I'll follow that for sure. Not.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. It's just that it's kind of like popcorn to me, licorice. You pull out one, you pull out three, and you know, and he was popping them back like freaking candies sitting there and I'm just sitting there like watching it as he's like opening his mouth and showing us the licorice, and I'm just like, oh, dude.
Yeah. That's why I don't buy cookies in this house, because I eat them. I go 1 to enough, so I'm like, no, we don't buy cookies.
Cookies?
Yeah, I love cookies.
Yeah. I mean, my thing was always licorice for me, and chips and dip and licorice. So just quickly, Joan says, read a big name, Red. I think she said Red, a big name. Okay, Bambi, you need to shut your mouth down there, okay? She snuck in while I opened up the door. Read a big name attorney offered to represent him instead of these two. If he confessed to them, they could not argue his innocence. I hope it's not Jose
Baez.
Baez. Okay, thank you. From Casey Anthony's case.
Jose Baez. Oh God.
And again, I mean, nothing about this was said in court today. I mean, I'm not saying a big name attorney won't offer their services to him, but as of right now, this is probably, if you've heard this, Joan, it's probably just another attempt of people that, you know, got their butts hurt today because they were very pro defense, and they're trying to put out a narrative that this was not them quitting because they leaked information. It's them quitting because of a whole nother reason. And it's just not what the evidence points to. So I wouldn't pay much attention to it.
And also Jose Baez, he only has permission from Florida, for the state of Florida. He cannot defend in Indiana. He doesn't have
I think it was just
people are going to be throwing anything they can.
Yeah, any name. Yeah.
To try to like, paint the narrative in a direction different than what we're seeing, which is the factual basis of what's happening.
Yeah.
And I was listening to the judge, and to me, and I, you guys, I mean, Deb said something, and I was like, okay, maybe. When Deb said that maybe she gave the opportunity to quit, and maybe he quit on the spot. But judging by her words, what she was saying, I don't think that was the case. I think she was surprised, because I was like looking and listening to the words, like to the statement, to the the verbiage that she used. And it almost seems like she was surprised, very surprised. Like I don't think she put it on the table.
Could be.
Interesting to see.
You always have a good take on that, and you're very perceptive. Of course, that's what you've done for years, so it's second nature to you. So,
I mean,
she could have been disappointed. She could have been disappointed that they weren't willing to cooperate, and instead chose to quit, which wasted the court and everyone else's time.
Yeah.
I felt that kind of a little bit, wasting the court and everyone's time, and that's kind of where I felt like the anger or this, like the frustration was coming from.
I know. When I heard this, I kept thinking, I feel so bad for Steffa. Like, she drove all the way. And I kept thinking, poor Steffa.
I knew someone that flew across the country for it.
I think she's going to stay for the walk, hopefully. So I think, she had a purpose.
Yeah, she's going to make it. Yeah.
Like I said, I know someone that literally got on a plane last night and flew across the country.
Really? Oh, my God. My heart goes out to them. Oh, that's...
Yes.
I mean,
I
feel do we have final thoughts or?
Yeah, just do final thoughts. Go ahead, Deb. You want to start it?
Sure. So, first of all, I just want to thank everyone. I want to thank Sunny and Aspen for having me on here. I really appreciate you both. And I want to thank you guys for letting me simulcast it on my channel. Shut up. Thank for letting me simulcast it so I can get some hours, because I'm getting really close to that 1,000 mark, and I need to get those hours up there. Yay. And I just want to thank the mods that helped out today. They did an excellent job, and everyone that came and chatted just had the nicest group of people, except for Ray when he popped in. But
I know.
Had a nice group of people who are intelligent and have great thoughts, and I'm so appreciative of you. And I want to ask everybody, whether you pray or not, you can put it in your thoughts, but to either pray or have good thoughts for order and professionalism going forward in this case, and to keep the families in your thoughts and prayers. And please, be kind to each other. And one more thing. This goes directly to all of the YouTubers, all of us involved. Let's just not have any more drama. There's been a lot of it in the YouTube community, and there's no reason for it. Just move on, do your thing, and move on. Thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know who wants to go next. Alexa, are you sleeping over there?
No, I'm reading.
Praying?
No, I'm reading.
Okay.
I have my phone down, so I'm like reading.
I'll go next. I mean, I think that I've said it for a while that I thought that that these actions warranted the dismissal of the attorneys, whether they resigned or are removed. It's an unfortunate delay in justice for the girls either way, but more than not, it shouldn't be forgotten that this was because of the actions of the defense team, no one else. They, whether intentionally or inadvertently, created an environment that leaks were sent out, which is an injustice to Libby and Abby, their families, to Richard Allen, his family, and hopefully this will, right a wrong in this case, and from here on out, things will progress smoothly. But there's no denying that it delays all of this for everyone. So it's not a happy day for anyone. I don't think, anyone's right or wrong when it comes to today. I think that, it's still a sad day for justice, but an unnecessary one. And that's the thing that should be remembered, is that none of this was necessary.
Right.
Mm-hmm. You're not gonna? Did you remember to thank Deb?
And thank you, Deb and Alexa, for coming on today.
Thanks.
Alexa.
No, I feel the same. I think what a sad day, especially for justice. One, the families, I feel so bad for them. Another one also, even for Richard Allen, I mean, and for his family, because I mean, at the end of the day, they hurt him the most, and this whole thing is going to hurt him. So it's sad that they didn't think of the consequences if it came from them. It's sad that they didn't think of the reputation, but at the end of the day, I think like everybody said, I think it's a sad day for both, but especially for the client and for their own reputation. So because I don't think I've been that they were careless, whatever, but this has never happened to them before. So it's going to be interesting what's going to happen. I hope they get fined. But anyway, but thank you for having me. I appreciate the honor to be with you guys. Appreciate it.
I love you.
Love you too, guys.
I love you on every day that ends in Y, I suppose. I just want you guys to know that Tom is probably still doing a live and he's just checking in on us. Because I can't see how Tom only did an hour live and it wasn't a 3 or 4 hour one. Unless he's because Tom usually beats us in lives, to be honest. Most times we're only at the 3 hour mark. Yeah, bye everyone. See, he just came in to peek on us. As for me, I just I want to say I appreciate everyone that truly cares about cases, not just Abby's and Libby's, but all the cases. And that, to me, as much as I hate being in true crime, because it's such a sad community, right? Because you're dealing with murders and deaths and missing people and stuff like that, and all that stuff is horrific. And I've managed to try to balance the emotions of helping versus, but trying to put into a different box in my head the horrific parts of how people are killed by people and stuff like that. And so I want to say I appreciate all of you guys that do support and this channel, other channels as well. I agree with Deb, absolutely, on the drama stuff. It kind of made myself and Adam want to remove ourselves from only when important events more happened with Delphi because of all the drama. You think you're doing, being kind and just, trying to help people, and then it seems like you get shit in the face and talked about and stuff like that. And then there's just the ones that exactly are in it for drama and stuff like that. I don't care about those people. But regardless, if we all have our different, ways about creators or feelings or whatever, it is supposed to be about helping and caring about. But it's the main thing for me is like I always believe that people should always help and support each other and not try to bring them down or stupid arguments about stupid stuff that doesn't matter. So I do agree with Deb on that. I know that there has been a lot of stuff with Delphi, but I don't pay attention to it. Hey, Kathy, thank you very much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Anyways, I just want to say I really appreciate the people out there that give their hearts, give their kindness to caring about other cases, whatever your reason for being in true crime is and stuff like that. Thank you again, Deb. And of course, like I said, simulcasting, or if anyone ever wants to use the content in a good, decent way from this channel, we never have an issue with that. I will never copyright strike anyone.
Unless you're going to use it to be mean.
Well, that's what I mean. Unless if it's used for good purposes, absolutely.
Again, thank you very
much. Yeah, we're a voice for the voiceless, and the community in true crime is getting, rather big out there and stuff like that. Hopefully everyone stays mostly grounded and does it for the right reasons, but that would be like wishful thinking. As for Abby and Libby's case and the family and stuff like that, Thank you, Kathy. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. And appreciate it. Go ahead.
And sometimes, sometimes it's important to remember that, like the old saying goes, sometimes the loudest voice in the room isn't the smartest. And, I think that's important to remember when
you told me that.
That's why I don't say anything.
When you're watching, when you're watching content, and I'm not dissing on anyone, but, sometimes just because there's one person saying the same thing over and over and over and over again, and they're the loudest voice in the room, doesn't mean they're right. We all have the right, luckily, to use our to get our information from different sources and decipher what we think is accurate.
Right. Everyone has an opinion, and that's where great ideas come from sometimes, just listening to others.
Right.
Yeah. So I was going to say, but when it comes to what happened today, yes, I feel sad, but then again, I'm a believer in things happen for the reasons that they're meant to happen. So in hindsight, as this goes on, maybe it's meant to be a good thing for the right reasons for Abby and Libby. But yet, of course, it's hard to sit there and, you're waiting for something and hoping that this is moving along. I didn't really expect this whole farce of this last bit to come out with, since, just, I don't know. I just never expected this. It was kind of like getting like, like derailed and going, what the heck is going on with Delphi? Seriously. But anyways, prayer for the parents. Most importantly, besides the parents and the aunts and uncles and family, this is about Abby and Libby always, and that's why you guys are here watching. That's because you guys care about Abby and Libby. And that's the most important thing. I don't care what anybody else says. It will always be about the victims over anything, and the children and, the people that have lost their lives. But anyways, thank you guys. And especially want to thank Tom Webster for going on a live during our live, because, Tom could have waited till our 4 hours was up. The nerve of getting off your recliner and then coming into this chat. No, just kidding.
Make sure you watch Tom's replay.
Yeah. And Lisa, who else do you think I was talking about if I wasn't talking about myself?
Is Adam? Yeah, Adam's getting married to Lacey at some point in the very distant future. I'll probably be dead by that point, but it's going to happen one day. Anyways, Aspen, if you need a best man. Oh, wow, look at all these people. I'll just offer and right up there.
I can't
Deb,
believe if
oh,
Tom was wearing a suit on his live.
is he wearing a suit? Is he trying to look handsome for me again? Is he? He knows how turned on I was when I watched him on the freaking one where he's all dolled up there with whatever Hendrix lady, whatever her name was. I can't remember now. Something Hendrix. Anyways, I'm gonna have to go check it out. Was he wearing a suit?
Yeah, looked very good. I mean, he always looks very good, very posh with his.
Rumor has it he had a polo on, but I don't know.
So just to ask you, I'm confused about this. So I didn't know about no walk going on. So I always thought that they had a walk already.
They have one. Yeah, they have them a couple times a year. And this one is like an annual one that happens around Halloween, and it's Saturday at 12:30 at the trails.
On there. Okay, so this Saturday at the trails. Yeah, I wish.
Yes.
I wish I lived in the United States. There, I'd probably be like a mini me of the JLR on there. Like, no, I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Ron Logan, get out of your grave, buddy. I'm going to talk to you. Anyways, I feel bad for Steph and that. Like I said, she was so worried with her daughter and the diabetes and stuff like that. And then, I whatever. I just feel bad for the people that, like you said, someone flew out there, the families, everybody, and whatever. Anyways, it is what it is, of course. What will be, will be. Right. And hopefully, at the end of the day, out of all of this, it doesn't really matter. It's just that Abby and Libby get the proper justice that they deserve. That's all I want to see out of this. I don't give a shit who the BG is, like which, I just want to set that whomever is responsible for the lives of Abby and Libby, that Libby took that video, so that was like, huge that she left that, and just to bring justice for person or persons that took their lives. And I would just like to see that full circle at some point between 2030, perhaps. I don't know. Who knows how long this case is going to go on for? Who knows? Anyways, I just want justice for those girls. Okay, you guys. Jeff, Jeff can play the music.
And I guess, and we'll see you all tomorrow night, right? Yeah, Friday.
Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, Friday. Yeah. There's definitely other stuff going on. Alexis, she's not allowed on the Rex Heuermann one because she doesn't believe that's.
So many holes with that story that I was reading the statement analysis.
It's always good, right? Like, to me, like I said, that's always good because it's kind of like, I see truth to it, you don't, so it's like, like I said, kind of like hearing the prosecution and defense there on there. But there's just been a lot going on with a bunch of other things, that Brian Koberger, the aunt talking with the
that one. I don't know. I haven't read anything about Koberger.
No,
no, nothing.
I try to keep up with it as best as I can. But it's kind of like its own circus over there as well. I don't think it will ever touch Delphi's Circus Act, so I think Summer Wells is probably the next closest one I can think of. That literally was like a lot of psychos in that case. Anyways, good night. Hey, Jane from the country. Okay.
Hey, I've got to run.
No, we're ending the live.
Crying baby.
You have a crying baby. Okay. Anyways, you guys have a great day. Go check out the lives that are going on with Tom and whoever else has done lives today for this and stuff like that. And thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you guys. Thanks, Deb and Alexza and everybody else for joining us. All right. And I'm just going to try to find the outro. Let me just scroll up. Okay, bye. This is Sunny Justice and Aspen Connor from It's a Crime and Shame, wishing you all a good night.